I'm Detective Jesus. I'm the one who's been investigating the crash. You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2.
On the morning of July 31st, 2022, at 5:34 a.m., a surveillance camera on Pearl Road in Strongsville, Ohio, captured a black Toyota Camry making a slow, controlled turn onto Progress Drive. What happened next, in the space of less than 2 minutes, would shock a community and divide a nation. The car accelerated, and it kept accelerating, past every point where a driver would naturally slow down, past every turn, past every reason to stop, until it was traveling at close to 100 miles per hour down a quiet industrial road, with nowhere to go but a brick wall at the end of it. Two of the 3 people inside that car never came home. 20-year-old Dominic Russo and 19-year-old Davion Flanagan were pronounced dead at the scene. The driver, 17-year-old Mackenzie Shirilla, survived. Had this been a tragic accident, a medical episode, or had this been something far darker, a deliberate, premeditated act of murder carried out on a road she had visited just 3 days before? This is the full deep dive into everything you need to know about the Mackenzie Shirilla case.
I kid you not, she looked at me and said they call her Shirilla the Killa.
What? Yes! It's world news?
Why are they so upset with you? Like, you got in a fucking car accident. Like, I've gotten in 3 of those.
Mackenzie Shirilla was born on August 2nd, 2004, and raised in Strongsville by her parents, Natalie and Stephen Shirilla, alongside her older sister Danielle. By all accounts, she grew up in a comfortable, middle-class household in the same suburb where Dominic Russo lived. She and Dominic Anthony Russo had been together since she was a freshman in high school. Dominic was 3 years older, a gap that friends noted but generally accepted as normal for the long-term teenage relationship. Dominic Russo was born on September 24th, 2001. He was the son of Christine and Frank Russo and brother to 6 siblings: Angelo, Christopher, Christine, Nicole, Michael, and Frank. Friends and family described him as a young entrepreneur who had started a small clothing brand, invested in stocks and cryptocurrency, and built a home music studio. Dominic had his own place, a house next door to his mother's in Strongsville, where he had been living independently, building a life of his own. His older brother Angelo, who lived next door, described him in the most direct terms: the most selfless person he had ever known, and his best friend. Friends said Dominic was loyal, caring, funny, and attentive. By the spring of 2022, 17-year-old Mackenzie had graduated Strongsville High School and moved in with Dominic. Her father Steve said, "There was talk of getting married. He was part of our family, someone my daughter was planning a life with." During her time at Strongsville High School, Mackenzie had built a presence for herself. She was active on social media, particularly TikTok, where she posted lifestyle and fashion content and was trying to build a following. One of her closest friends was Rosie Graham, who shared her love of fashion and social media. The two became close, and along with Rosie's boyfriend, Bubba, Dominic, and Davion, they formed a tight-knit group of friends. But not everyone saw Mackenzie the same way. Classmates described her as extroverted and popular, someone who commanded attention, with reportedly over 100 girls following her around school. She was known to be a fan of Regina George, the iconic Mean Girl character from the 2004 film Mean Girls, and classmates said she liked to imitate her. Some of Dominic's friends described her as something of a mean girl figure within their social circle, though those closest to her saw a very different person. But regardless of how people saw Mackenzie, what was really happening behind closed doors in her relationship with Dominic was something nobody on the outside truly knew, at least not yet. By the summer of 2022, the relationship between Mackenzie and Dominic had become increasingly volatile. She had moved in with him right after graduation, still only 17, living in the house next door to his mother's. What had started as an inseparable teenage romance was beginning to fracture. Dominic's mother, Christine, said there had been fighting, arguments, disagreements, breakups and threats in the months leading up to that summer. Mackenzie had grown more possessive. Dominic had tried to end the relationship multiple times, even in July, but the two kept coming back together. On more than one occasion, Dominic's brother Angelo said Dominic had to call Mackenzie's parents and ask them to come and remove her from the house because she refused to leave. Part of what complicated things was history. A friend said Dominic had once cheated on Mackenzie and that it had never fully healed. The trust between them had been damaged, and by all accounts it showed. Those who knew them described an exhausting emotional cycle. Mackenzie raving about how much she loved Dominic one moment, threatening to end things the next. In one text exchange from this period, Mackenzie wrote to Dominic, "I told you it's my way or the highway. I would watch your back from now on, and your house, and your car, and your life, and any of your friends." Dominic replied, "Kenzie, this isn't right, and you know it." Those close to them could see that something was wrong, that the relationship was in trouble, but no one truly knew how far things would go. The evening of Saturday, July 30th, 2022 began like so many summer nights in a close-knit group of teenagers. School was over, summer had just started, and there was plenty to celebrate. At around 10:15 p.m, Mackenzie, Dominic and their friend Davion arrived at a graduation party at the home of Mackenzie's friend Kelly Vraja. Davion Markel Flanagan was born on March 11th, 2003. He and his two younger sisters, Divine Isabella and Dahlia Rose, had spent time in foster care before being adopted at age 8 by Jamie and Scott Flanagan. He competed in track, baseball and basketball, and in the summers he coached younger children in swimming. By the time he reached Strongsville High School, he had built a life most people would have been proud of. He was the starting running back on the football team until 4 games into his senior season when he tore both his ACL and UCL, and just like that, that chapter closed. But Davion wasn't someone who stayed down for long. He found a new passion. He enrolled to begin training at the All-State Hairstyling and Barber College in Cleveland that autumn, working full-time that summer to get there. He wanted to cut hair. He wanted his own barbershop one day. Along the way, he found a new crowd and a new rhythm too, falling in with the group that included Mackenzie and Dominic. He was easygoing, the kind of person who just fit wherever he went. And on the evening of July 30th, 2022, he was exactly where he always was, with the people he trusted most. That night, the three arrived at the house with a bottle of tequila and a weed pen with them. At some point that evening, Mackenzie quietly asked Kelly if it would be okay if they took mushrooms. Kelly said no. The question went no further, but the mushrooms were still with them when they left. They stayed for less than an hour, and from there, the three of them drove to the home of their friend Paul Burlinghouse, arriving around 11 p.m. Rosie Graham was already there, along with her boyfriend Bubba. The group listened to music, some of them smoked marijuana, and Bubba said that everything seemed fine between Mackenzie and Dominic that night. Nothing stood out, nothing seemed wrong. Paul went to sleep around midnight, leaving the others to carry on. The night stretched into the early hours of the morning. The rest of the group stayed, hanging out the way they often did, having deep conversations and watching YouTube videos. Around 3 a.m, Rosie noticed Dominic gently stroking Mackenzie's hair as she drifted off to sleep on the couch. The group had arrived with psilocybin mushrooms brought by Mackenzie, with a loose plan of taking them, but by the time midnight passed, it felt too late. The mushrooms stayed untouched. They stuck to marijuana, and the night stayed quiet. Rosie would later say that Mackenzie hadn't even smoked that night, as she had been suffering from a bad cough. Sometime in those early morning hours, Dominic picked up his phone and sent his father Frank a message saying, "Love you, Dad." He also tried to FaceTime his friend Blair, as well as sending similar love you messages to his brother, his friend and his mum. As the group began to stir around 5:30 a.m. and prepare to leave, Davion said his goodbyes. He had briefly considered going home with Bubba that night instead. At the last moment, he changed his mind and decided to ride with Mackenzie and Dominic. Dominic reclined the front passenger seat all the way back. Davion climbed into the back. Mackenzie got behind the wheel of her 2018 Toyota Camry and they drove off. At 5:34 a.m., a surveillance camera on Pearl Road captured the car making a slow, controlled right turn onto Progress Drive. The headlights were on. The road ahead was straight, quiet, and empty. There was no one around. Progress Drive is not a road you end up on by accident. It is an industrial cut-through, a stretch of warehouses and commercial buildings tucked away from the residential streets of Strongsville. It was not the way home, and it was not a route Mackenzie normally took. For a few seconds, the car moved at a normal speed, then it didn't. The accelerator went down, and it stayed down, through the length of that road, past the warehouses, past every point at which a driver would naturally slow or turn. The car kept accelerating, the speed climbing. The brick wall of the Plitco manufacturing facility sat at the end of the road, where Progress Drive met Alameda Drive in a T-junction, a dead end with nowhere to go. But the car never slowed, and at 5:39 a.m., the car struck the corner of the building at close to 100 miles per hour. The impact was catastrophic. The front end of the Camry was destroyed so completely that it appeared to have been cut in half. Dominic, reclined in the passenger seat, suffered severe head trauma. Davion, in the back, was thrown forward with such force that he came to rest on top of Dominic, both of them motionless in what remained of the front of the car. Mackenzie was driven under the front console, wedged beneath the collapsed dashboard, her foot still pressing the accelerator to the floor. The car sat there in the dark. The engine ran. For 45 minutes, no one came. It was not until 6:15 a.m. that a passerby spotted the wreckage and called 911.
Yes, are you familiar where Progress coincides with Albion Road there in Strongsville?
Yep.
Yeah, just across the street from Progress, the building, there's a car that smashed up against the building. I didn't go up to it because I was on my motorcycle. I didn't know if I'd get stuck, but they ran the curb. I can see they smashed the sign and hit the building. The car's trashed.
Did you tell someone was in it?
I didn't go up to it. I was on my motorcycle.
How long ago was this?
2 minutes. I live right on Westwood. I live right down the street.
When the first officers arrived at 6:20 a.m., they rushed over to the car and tried to see if there was anyone inside. One of them called it over the radio, his voice tight. The car looked like it was split in two.
Radio, there's an occupant inside. Send us some squad now. We gotta bust the window out. Send us some more units.
Any more units to Progress and Alameda?
Now!
Put them in going.
This is not a fresh accident either. She's been here for a while. Radio, we got at least 2 occupants in here. No one's moving. Oh my God. Oh my God. Times 3, guys. Radio, 3 occupants. No one's conscious. No one's breathing.
I copy.
Bust that window out. Rookie. Oh my God, dude. Who can hear my voice? In here. Driver's radio. The driver is breathing unconscious. This is bad, guys. She's alive. We got to get her out somehow.
All right, reach up and unlock the door. She's breathing. Her head's wedged. Let's see if we can get some IDs, guys. Oh yeah, they're all pretty young.
I don't feel anything. I don't feel a pulse.
She's breathing. I saw her stomach. Her stomach's moving.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We got 2 that are gone.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
don't even know how to freaking. Is this locked or something?
It's
Can you lock it from that side?
it ain't gonna budge. It's on the frame. Let's go around and see if we can.
Oh wait, we can probably pull them from the front.
Oh my god. Sarge, we're good to try to get her out? Oh, dude, I don't know if we can.
No, just wait until the squad gets here. Because you can't, she's pinned in there.
Oh my god.
She's breathing now?
Breathing?
She's breathing. She's breathing.
Let me
Her head's wide.
try to reach in and like sternum her up.
I don't feel anything. I don't feel pulse.
I don't feel a pulse on this guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't feel a pulse on this one guy.
This one,
We got 2 there
next.
gone. Okay.
And he's
I know.
head.
Jesus
down.
Christ. This is the worst I've ever seen.
like this.
I mean, either she's drunk or high, or she just isn't from here, was going way too fast and didn't know at the road ended. Because, I mean, it looks like they even went off the road up there.
They did. The
So
specs
it's
right
like-
behind my car.
Okay. So it,
They might have came corrected from the other side.
yeah, maybe. But I mean, if you're hitting the building that hard, I just can't believe all the people that work up here that are up here all night long, no one heard.
They're in factory type settings, so.
Yeah, well,
And it's dark over.
that's insane though.
The engine's still a little warm, I think, so.
Still, it's like,
Firefighters used hydraulic tools to tear open what remained of the car. Davion was pulled out first, then Mackenzie, then Dominic.
Oh my god.
31's gonna go.
This way, head this way. Watch step, watch step.
I copy. 2131. They said that there are fire in the road.
Mackenzie was alive, her oxygen levels critically low, but tragically, Dominic and Davion were pronounced dead at the scene.
What's your name, dear? Mackenzie. Okay.
Was it a witness crash?
No, they just drove by this morning at 6 and saw the car here.
Okay.
We have no idea when it happened. Sometime overnight.
No idea where they came from.
No, they're just coming down Progress this way for sure. But
I
that's
got
it.
time of call and time of death when you are ready.
He's warm to the touch. Very warm.
Alright, time of death.
6:44.
For both of them?
Yeah.
Behind her, on the ground beside the wreckage, officers found a small amount of marijuana in her purse, a digital scale, and, concealed in her clothing, 8 grams of psilocybin mushrooms.
I had mushrooms and a scale on her. I secured it in my car.
Oh, okay. Yeah, marijuana, mushrooms. Marijuana and mushroom. Molotov cocktails.
There are also grinders in that bag.
Not that we could see.
Engine's still pretty warm, so it can't be too. Oh, that's fair. Within a few hours. it's fine.
mean. Oh my god, you're in the huh?
I'm trying. We need to get this guy ID'd. His family needs to know.
Mackenzie was airlifted to Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland. Her body was broken in multiple places, a fractured femur, 3 broken ribs, a lacerated liver, a lacerated kidney, a shattered arm, damage to both carotid arteries from the force of her neck snapping forward. At the hospital, officers informed Mackenzie's parents, Natalie and Steve Shirilla, of what had happened.
What'd they tell you?
Nothing.
Okay. She was life flighted here.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that.
Okay. No. You want to sit down?
Oh my god.
Way to say this. It's Progress in Alameda, car into a building, 2 are deceased in the vehicle, daughter's driving.
Who died?
I don't know whether, but there's one that we don't know. His name's Jacob. Does anyone know a Jacob?
Dom?
No, stop! Let him talk!
Guys, I know, we've been dealing with this Your daughter's okay. She's talking to us. I talked to her, okay? Your daughter's alive, okay? Your daughter's alive. She was driving the vehicle, okay?
Who was that? Jacob and who?
I think what's the name you said?
Dom.
Might be.
Oh my God. Stop.
What's his relation to you? Okay. Yeah, then Dom was in the car.
Stop. Oh my God. What? Are you kidding me?
Ma'am, it's...
What?
That's where we're at right now. Okay?
What did she say? What happened?
What?
It's right now, it's an ongoing investigation. Speed is definitely a factor. So are drugs.
Oh my God.
After getting more details about the drugs and other items investigators had found at the scene, the officer returned to speak with the Shirillas again. It is worth noting that at this point, officers had not yet formally identified Dominic. They believed the male passenger to be someone named Jacob, which is why there may be a moment of confusion in the footage, as the details were relayed to the family.
Full transparency here. There's drugs in the car. She had a bag of mushrooms on her and a scale. Full transparency, guys. I'm sorry, I'm ripping the Band-Aid off, okay? Drugs in the car. It's a mess, okay? We're not going to do anything with the blood draw or anything here, but it will probably be subpoenaed, just so you guys know. They're going to subpoena for a blood draw for the sample, okay? Since she's unconscious, I really will, if you guys could talk, if she wakes up, we need the name of that passenger, okay?
Wait, you don't know it?
We don't. All I know is his name is Jacob. That's it.
Where were people in the car?
She was driving, one in the back seat, and Jacob was in the front. Davion in the back.
Where Elli's
You're the parent. I mean, you have the right to know. This is serious. Me and him were the first ones on scene to discover.
He was awake, but not awake, so she went back.
In and out of consciousness. She had to be fully extracted from the vehicle. IFD. I know she has a severe leg injury. But like I said, she was speaking. She was speaking, okay? And she had her seatbelt on. Yes. We had to cut it off to get her out.
Stop.
Yeah, that probably saved her life. 100% saved her life.
She had a seatbelt up. Oh.
I don't believe the others did.
Oh my God. Oh my God. She got it up.
It was at Progress in Alameda. Like I said, they hit a building at a very high speed.
She had it on
She did not hit another vehicle.
The girls were on her, or like on a person, or just on her? Or did somebody else's? Could it be that she that person? What does that mean? They were
pockets. Yeah. That's the least your worries at this point, guys.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm just trying to gather information. I'm an information gatherer.
Yes, I'm just giving you what I know. Okay.
Once officers had finally managed to ID Dominic, they went to his parents' house, Christine and Frank Russo, to deliver the news in person.
Hi, Christine. Hey, can I talk to you real quick?
Yeah.
Hey, so there was an incident that we believe Dominic may be involved.
What?
When was the last time you saw him?
Last night.
Last night?
Yeah, everybody was home. Why?
Okay.
What happened?
You want to come out here?
Yeah.
Or do you want us to come inside? It's up to you.
No, let me just put up my cigarette.
Okay.
When first told about the crash and that Mackenzie was being airlifted to hospital, Christine's immediate instinct was to ask where Mackenzie's mother was.
What time did you talk to him? Or did you actually see him?
Yeah, I was making buffalo chicken dip. I'd have to see.
Okay. Well, that's what.
Yeah. Okay. Because I went to my buddy's friends and then I came home. And I was late. I was making buffalo chicken dip. That's all I can remember. And then,
Okay.
You know, I mean, I'd have to look at my phone to see exactly about what time I got home.
Do you know who he was hanging out with last night?
So I was with that little girlfriend because that's it.
His girlfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I seen one other kid over there, but I can't remember his name. He fixed his car for him. One of his friends fixed his car. I've only seen him a couple times over to fix. He's got like a classic car that the kid was fixing on.
Okay. White kid, black kid, do you know?
Like a mix, kind of.
Okay.
I don't think he's real. I mean,
Okay.
like.
So he was hanging out with his girlfriend and...
Well, I don't know if they were really hanging out. The kids come over like twice to work on the car. I mean,
Okay.
That's usually what he's come over for, and then he's...
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Unfortunately, there was an accident, okay, involving Mackenzie, Davion, and who we believe is Dominic, is the third person.
An accident?
A car accident. Okay.
Wait.
Last night.
Wait.
Just relax. Just hold on. Just stay seated. Just
No,
stay seated.
wait.
Just hold on. Just listen.
Yes,
listen.
take a deep breath.
Christine, look at me. Take a deep breath.
Yeah, just take a deep breath.
Okay. Right now, all we know is that the driver, who was Mackenzie, is at Metro.
Right.
Okay.
Hold on. So yeah, just wait.
Just stay seated, please.
Take your time.
Please,
There you
just
go.
relax. Take a deep breath.
That's
Take
right.
a deep breath.
That's okay. You're good. Take your time.
Take a deep breath. Okay. Is anybody else home here with you right now?
Christopher, but he's sleeping. Angela's in Florida. Wait, where's Mackenzie's mom?
Okay. They're down at Metro right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Then came the rest of it. The footage of Christine learning that her son Dominic was dead is truly one of the most heartbreaking things you will ever see. No parent should ever have to receive that news. No one should ever be put in that position. Dominic's father Frank was taken outside by officers, where they gave him as many details as they had about what had happened on Progress Drive that morning.
So,
You know what time it happened?
no, we don't. Right now, it's so early in the investigation that we don't know. What we do know 100% is somebody called it in. Somebody passing by called it in at around 6:15, 6:30.
Oh, good one. The car was just smashed somewhere?
Yeah. So what it appears that happened is they were going westbound on Progress from Pearl Road, and they went
Right here in Strongsville?
in Strongsville. That business that's right on Alameda, right where Progress ends. That's dead ends right there. They hit that building. They hit the sign out front, and then they hit the building.
Did they fall asleep at the wheel or something?
Don't know.
We don't know that. So
two kids are dead. My son's dead. Another kid's dead. And
Go
the
ahead.
girl's in the hospital.
she's in surgery right now.
Oh my God, her Chris? She was in her car?
It was in Mackenzie's car. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now, is she gonna make it, or you guys don't know?
We right now we don't know. She's in surgery right now, so we don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Frank then asked whether Angelo, Dominic's older brother and one of his closest people in the world, had been informed yet.
Oh my gosh. You might try calling Angelo?
Yes.
It went right to voicemail.
Angelo was super close to him, man.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. He's in Florida.
Is he living in Florida, or is he just down there visiting?
He just went to see his girlfriend.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
When was he supposed to come back? Do you remember?
He
You know
wasn't
that?
sure. He just got an open-end ticket.
Okay.
We would call it. I can't even think straight. Maybe a week or 2 weeks.
Okay.
They'll be back early now. Holy sh! Oh my God.
And then Frank mentioned the I love you text message Dominic had sent him in the early hours of that morning.
He texted me at 3 o'clock in the morning. Love you, Dad.
He texted you this morning at 3 o'clock?
2:53.
2:53.
Well, that's helpful.
Okay.
Because we couldn't. I think the last time she was saying she saw it around like 9. Well, it's something about 9:30.
They must have went to a party or something
That very
somewhere.
possible. What time did you say
They
it
was
was?
2:53. Oh my God.
Had you spoken with him yesterday at all? Okay.
Oh boy.
Mackenzie Shirilla had survived, just barely. She underwent multiple surgeries in the days that followed. The damage to her body was extensive, and she would spend weeks in hospital, then months in rehabilitation. She could barely walk. The behavior of the Shirilla family at the hospital raised immediate concerns for investigators. Natalie Shirilla was allegedly telling Mackenzie's friends not to cooperate with police. Steve Shirilla's behavior was no less striking. While visiting Mackenzie at the hospital, Steve approached one of her friends, Bubba, who had been with the group that night. Steve looked him in the eye and asked him directly to help him save his daughter. When Detective Zaki Hazu arrived at the hospital and informed Mackenzie and her mother Natalie that she was being investigated for 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, Mackenzie interjected. She asked, "Can I say something to her real quick?" And then right there in the room with the detective beside her, switched into a coded language, talking directly to her mother. Detective Hazu had been recording the encounter on audio. Prosecutor Tim Troop later explained what had been captured, saying, "It's a gibberish or a distortion of the English language. It's kind of like Pig Latin." When prosecutors later decoded it, what Mackenzie had been saying to her mother was clear. "Can we tell the police I had a seizure? Can we tell the police something like that?" Mackenzie then turned back to Detective Hazu and asked him directly, "Can't you just take my license away for like 10 years? The same coded language would later appear in recorded jail calls from Cuyahoga County Jail, where Mackenzie and Natalie could be heard switching into it mid-conversation whenever other inmates were nearby.
Hello? Hey, 계속 이렇게 feeder with you. 이런 기타 뒤도 like with 이런 기타면 idea or 이런 she was like crazy and she's like 이사 시사 기타리사 시사 feeder. He's the reason you're reason. Misa kiza is a freezer. Like talking to me. I'm like, girl, like you don't see me walking to my room. What the fuck? Why are you yelling at me? And then she wants to like let me out last and like only let one girl out and like take longest stuff to let me back out of my room and shit.
Yeah. Did you save your juice or did you drink it?
No, she gave me the either reason. Either drink reason because she gave me either Jesus.
Oh, that's nice.
She did like using reason either either. I'm like either you do
oh my God, how nice! She's so nice.
Lisa Keither is up. She needs either music teacher. She's a
I don't know what her name is.
Lisa Keither with like she's a Lisa. She's or be they meeting. Keither be the Lisa Keither be they meeting either. She's a
July 4th.
Mhm.
Mackenzie had been posting to TikTok from the hospital. Her following was growing. The crash had brought her a level of attention she had never had before, and clothing brands and companies were reaching out. In the days immediately after the crash, while Dominic and Davion had not yet been buried, a brand left a comment on one of her Instagram posts. Mackenzie's mother Natalie replied back, "Thank you for this amazing opportunity. This is her mother. She would love if you would use that. She's actually been trying to contact you guys for PR email. It was a tragic accident, and she did not purposely mean put an end to any of her close friends' life. This is just as painful as it is for her, as it is for everybody else, or maybe even a little bit more painful." Then Mackenzie herself said, "Thank you for the comment. I would love to work with you guys. I've been emailing you guys a lot. Such a great opportunity. Thank you." Scott Flanagan, Davion's father, saw it. He described it as tone deaf, saying, "She just doesn't get how much anguish she's caused. No one in their right mind would post about being thrilled about this opportunity after they'd just killed 2 people in a horrific accident." Alongside the brand opportunities, while Mackenzie was still in hospital, Natalie began pursuing a modeling opportunity for her daughter with a Los Angeles agency. When asked directly by police about the modeling opportunity, her friend Paul Burlinghouse said,
"If you're on social media, did you see Kenzie talking with this modeling company after the crash, after we gave her her phone back?"
I saw people talking about that.
Yeah, what did you see?
Just people really enraged.
Enraged about what?
That she was talking to the modeling company.
Yeah, did you see how happy her mom was that the modeling company is trying to help her plan her future? She just killed her boyfriend and another kid with a very bright future. She killed 2 people. And the reaction is, "I'm worried about my modeling career." Instead of, that's what I'm saying, weigh all that as, as the time comes, that people can put on a really good show about how devastated they are. But then you look at their social media and you're back talking about your career and your future plans. If I kill my friends or if I'm responsible for the death of somebody, it's devastating.
Meanwhile, the funerals of Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan took place in early August. The community mourned. The night before his funeral, she tried to leave. Police were called to her room to intervene. Sergeant Doyle, who responded to the incident, spoke with her father Steve, who had called in. Steve told the officer they could not allow their daughter to leave the hospital. Sergeant Doyle explained that as she was now an adult, having turned 18 on August 2nd, just 2 days after the crash, they could not physically prevent her from leaving if she chose to go. It was then that Steve allegedly told the officer why she had to stay. According to the police report, Steve allegedly said she already tried to kill herself and she killed those 2 boys, and that they can't allow her to leave the hospital because she is suicidal. This was highly interesting given the ongoing debate around whether Mackenzie had a history of suicidal thoughts and what had truly happened on Progress Drive that morning. However, this information had come to investigators secondhand, and when they interviewed Sergeant Doyle to set the record straight, it turned out that some of the details had actually got a little muddled and wasn't quite what it seemed.
We're dispatched to Mackenzie Shirilla's room. Can you tell me about that day?
So we were dispatched up to the room for a disturbance. Once we arrived up on the room, she was upset that with her dad. So I was in the room with her and her dad. And if I recall correctly, her mom was in the room too. He asked the dad to step out. He was hysterical, crying, just all upset about his daughter, and so then we're trying to calm him down, and he's like, you guys probably know who I am, and you probably saw it all on the news and stuff like that. And he's like, at one point in the conversation, he's like, I feel like my daughter needs a psych evaluation. And he's like, because she's not, thinking clearly, and blah 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 blah. I'll be honest, that was back in August, word for word what he said. I don't recall every word that he said. He was pretty hysterical, he was pretty upset, and we sat him at the waiting room down the hall, and that was she was upset with her dad because she wanted to leave to go to the funerals, and I guess they got in some kind of argument about it, and that was it.
Any insinuation or any statements that the dad made about his daughter being suicidal today or in the past?
No, he just, the only thing that I can recall on is he just made that comment, I feel like she needs a psych evaluation, because she's not thinking clearly. Okay. What that means,
okay. Yeah, so it's open for interpretation, basically. Mm-hmm. He did not kind of go on to explain.
And I said, did you guys ever charge that, charge out that, female yet from that crash? And he said, and the one guy's like, no, not yet. Kind of saying hey, it's coming soon. So I said, yeah, we had a little interaction with the dad. I said, and I pretty much told them the same thing I told you. But at the end of it, I said, I'm like, oh, I said, I heard that she intentionally did it. Meaning, I heard that she intentionally did it through other law enforcement source.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay. So, at no point was it that you heard it from Shirilla's dad?
No.
Okay. Can I ask who you heard it from?
I was at a party, and there was a bunch of cops there, and it was third party.
Okay. Was it, SPD officers?
No, it was the other officer that knew. It was a kind of third party.
Third parties are just cops chopping it up.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, at no point in your conversation, just to be clear, did you say that Mr. Shirilla told you my daughter needs an eval because she tried to kill herself and in the process killed the 2 boys? Any reference to Shirilla killing the 2 boys?
No.
Okay.
In the end, Mackenzie did not make it to the funeral, and on the day, a comment appeared on his online obituary page under the name Mackenzie Shirilla. It read, I love you, my nug. I will never stop thinking about you. On the same day, another post in her name read, I love you, Dom. You are my soulmate. I won't never forget the memories we made together. You made me the girl I am today. Throughout August, multiple photographs of the couple were posted to his obituary page, prom pictures, holiday photos, pictures from a trip to Universal Studios. Then on August 24th came another post, alongside a photograph of the two of them together. The caption read, "I miss you, Nug. I still feel like you're just going to walk in the door any second. I miss your laugh, your perfect smile. I feel your energy around me every day. I just wish it was physical. God, you are the last person to deserve this. You had such a perfect life ahead of you. I wish I told you all this more. Please, wait for me." Around the same time, Mackenzie reached out to Christine Russo, Dominic's mother, by text. She told her she had no memory of what had happened that morning. She wrote, "I remember turning onto the street, and then my vision fades to black. It really kills me not being able to remember anything. I've been asking my therapist why I don't remember, and she said it's because of trauma, but I'm going to try to go get hypnotized and make myself remember." To those on the outside, there appeared to be two versions of Mackenzie Shirilla existing at the same time. One was the grieving girlfriend, the girl her mother described as lying in bed for months, wearing only Dominic's clothes, eating only the snacks he used to eat, listening only to the music he had made, with a shrine to him built beside her bed. The other was the girl on the phone, because while those heartbroken tributes were being posted to Dominic's obituary page, Mackenzie was also posting questionable things to social media.
"I'm not even cool. I'm just one of those girls that can do a lot of drugs and not die."
She posted TikToks of herself performing for the camera as though nothing had changed. She attended a concert in Cleveland's Flats Entertainment District, photographed in a wheelchair. Then came Halloween, just 3 months after the crash. Mackenzie posted photographs of herself dressed as a corpse. For the first 3 months after the crash, Strongsville police treated it as a traffic accident. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office, relying on the initial police report, listed the manner of death for both Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan as accident. There was no immediate suggestion of foul play. A teenager had crashed her car in the early hours of the morning. 2 people had died. It was devastating, but it appeared on the surface to be exactly what it looked like. But as investigators began speaking to those closest to the victims, including Dominic's mother, Christine Russo, and those who knew the couple well, a very different picture began to emerge.
At this point, we're waiting for the tox screen to look at whether it's OVI related or something else. Now, when you and I talked before in the first time, you indicated that you thought this wasn't just an OVI, that there was something else.
She told me just the other day that they weren't f***ed up. I asked her, "Why didn't you ask me to come get you?" And she said, "We weren't f***ed up or anything." Quote unquote. I don't have it in writing. I only have it orally said to me at the cemetery. So that's what she said.
Do you still believe that theory that there was something more sinister than, any type of impairment involved?
The only thing that to me, I don't know if there's a lot of rumors. I think a lot of people are lying about things.
Everybody who was at the party is very uncooperative, and they practically lawyered up and refusing to talk. I noticed that there were some text exchanges between you and Mackenzie, and a lot of times, at some point there was some "I love you" exchanges, so maybe she felt comfortable. But can you tell me what the relationship was like between Dom and Kenzie?
Well, Dom was kind of more private with me regarding their arguments, but my son said that she would threaten him all the time. And he blew up on me one day saying that Kenzie drives Dom crazy and is horrible. And he would say that all Dom's problems were because of her and being upset. And I needed to realize that she wasn't as sweet and innocent as
I thought she was.
Dom ever talk about her driving or her, ever, mention anything to you about, I don't feel safe getting in a car with this girl or anything of that sort?
Like I said, he has stated that she's crazy, that he was concerned about her driving.
Behind closed doors, the relationship between Mackenzie and Dominic had been hiding something, and the more people talked, the more the threads began to unravel. Then investigators started pulling them. As investigators dug into the circumstances around the crash, they began speaking with the people closest to Dominic and Mackenzie. What they heard painted a picture of a relationship in serious trouble. Dominic's mother, Christine, told investigators that in the 6 months leading up to the crash, she had witnessed escalating fighting, arguments, disagreements, breakups, and threats, and that Mackenzie had become increasingly possessive. Dominic's brother Angelo, who lived next door to the couple, told detectives that Dominic had tried to end the relationship multiple times, even in July, but the two kept coming back together. Angelo described being called by Dominic to come and remove Mackenzie from the house on multiple occasions because she refused to leave. He also provided investigators with video footage filmed in July 2022, which captured Mackenzie threatening to break into the house and key his car.
You lied and said you would never lock me out of the house again. That is why we got back together last time we broke up. But I forgot.
You broke up with me earlier.
Word, because you are a little fucking weak bitch.
You broke up with me earlier. You literally broke up with me earlier.
This is your last chance to open the door, or you are not coming out of this house all night, because I will not leave.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know, so just let me in the house.
No, like why can't you just be like calm at least for a second, and I can feel comfortable letting you in the house?
I am calm. I don't think you get to decide that with your fucking weird ass
you literally threatening
trauma
you literally threatening to fucking keep my car and shit. What else are you threatening?
Dom, I'm gonna give you one last chance to open the door. I'm gonna leave and do what I said I was gonna do.
Kenzie, look, let me go to dinner.
No.
You can let me go to dinner, then I can let you come over later.
No, you're not. I'm coming to dinner too.
Why? You should have told me you wanted to come.
You fucking retard. She already put me on the reservation, so fucking open the door, you dumbass. Open
Alright,
the door.
well, let's just go next door then.
No, we're not going next door.
No, I'm not letting you in the house.
We need to talk first, no? Because you just, betrayed me.
Alright, we can talk outside.
You know that's exactly what I mean. You don't even know exactly what I mean. You're gonna come open this door right now, or there's gonna be a serious fucking problem.
I can't, no. You can't keep making all these threats. I can't open the door.
You can't keep kicking me out of a place that you say is my home.
Kenzie, I didn't kick you out. You took all your shit and dipped. And said we were done.
I did not say we are done. Dom? Okay, ready? I'm gonna count to 10. The door's gonna open, okay? You're gonna open the door and stop hiding behind the door like a little fucking bitch. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Kenzie, I can't open the door.
4. Okay, I'm gonna break something then.
Why would you break something? Why? What are you trying to break?
Open the door.
No, I'm not opening the door.
You're gonna open the door right now.
Why are we fighting outside?
1 minute now, actually.
Look, wait, now my mom's trying to call me. I got it.
No, if you hang up on me, we're done. I'm leaving. You have 30 seconds left on the phone call to open the door. We're done.
Kenzie, I really don't think I can.
If you can't open the door, then you can't be in a relationship with me.
You can come to dinner with us if you want.
Open the door.
Kenzie, if you want, you can come to dinner with us.
Tom, if you don't open the door, I'm keying your car.
Why the fuck would you key my... Why? Do not do anything to my car. I need to call my mom back, babe.
Alright, is the door unlocked? I'm about to test it.
No, Kenzie, it's not unlocked. Why are you acting like this?
Dom, I'm gonna give you one last second or I'm gonna have to key your car.
Why would that ever be like an option?
We're broken up if you don't let me in the house. I will break up with you. I'm going to break up with you if you do not open this fucking door.
You literally took all your shit and left. I thought you didn't want to be here.
Okay, I'm gonna break into your house then.
Dude, what the actual fuck?
Well, I just broke your fucking key thing, so that sucks.
What key thing?
I don't know. You're gonna have to open the door to see it, because that's where it's fucked up from the outside, you fucking dick.
Okay.
Now open the door.
No. No. You're not, you're like saying you're breaking shit and stuff. You're not coming in my house.
I will break shit. I will break shit. Do I have to, call the police?
Why? Why would you call the
Do I have to
police?
call the police? Are you not gonna let me into my house?
This is not your house. I'm calling my mom.
No,
Yes,
you're
I
not.
am. I'm calling you. You're not doing this.
Then we're gonna break up. Then
This
we're
is
done.
my house. You
Then
don't.
we are done. If you do not let me in the house that I sleep in every night, we are done.
Kenzie, I can't
If
let
this
you in the
phone
house.
call is 10 minutes and I'm not in the house, then we're done.
No, Kenzie. No, Kenzie. I'm calling my mom. Goodbye.
No, you're not.
Investigators also spoke to people who had known the couple, friends, family members, and those who had been close to Mackenzie before her relationship with Dominic. Among them was one of Mackenzie's ex-boyfriends who spoke about what she had been like in a previous relationship.
Describe the relationship.
And that's kind of when all of us stopped being friends with just her. We were all cool with still. Just because she's so crazy, she'll blow everyone's phone up.
The text messages between Mackenzie and Dominic, all 93,000 of them, spanning January 2020 to July 30th, 2022, painted a picture of a relationship that was, at times, deeply toxic in both directions. In one set of messages, she told him, "I'm gonna kill someone." In another, "I just want to bang my head on the wall till I'm dead." Other messages from the same period show her talking about not being pregnant, getting tested for STDs, feeling depressed, and complaining about how Dominic treated her. In one January 2022 exchange, Mackenzie threatened to find a sugar daddy and start selling feet pictures if Dominic did not handwrite her an apology. In a March 2022 exchange, Dominic accused her of having accepted money for sexual activity while they were broken up, something Mackenzie acknowledged had happened during a period when she said the two of them were not together. By June 2022, just weeks before the crash, Dominic was still bringing it up, and the arguments were as raw as ever. Then there was the highway incident. Roughly 2 weeks before the crash, on July 17th, Dominic had called his mother in distress while Mackenzie was driving, saying she was behaving erratically and that he was scared. Christine sent her friend Christopher Martin, known to the group as Hench, to retrieve him. Christopher Martin called Dominic as he drove and found both cars pulling over onto the shoulder of Interstate 71. As they pulled over, Martin heard Dominic and Mackenzie arguing. During the argument, Mackenzie said, "I'm going to wreck this car right now." When they came to a stop, Christopher saw a tussle inside the car, with Mackenzie swinging her hands at Dominic as he tried to get out. Dominic got into Christopher's car and was driven back to the Russo home. Dominic was not the only one who had expressed concern about Mackenzie's driving. Friends and family members described a pattern of behavior behind the wheel that had made more than one person uncomfortable. While Mackenzie was being treated at Metro Health Medical Center in the hours after the crash, she made statements that investigators would later consider significant. Before she had any reason to believe the crash was being treated as anything other than a tragic accident, she told medical staff that she wanted to die and that it was her fault for killing her boyfriend. She also denied drug use to hospital staff, despite the psilocybin mushrooms found concealed in her clothing and the marijuana in her purse. Paul Burlinghouse, the friend at whose house the group had spent the night before the crash, visited Mackenzie in hospital. He went twice. Investigators spoke to him about what he had witnessed.
Did you ever sense, when she would hang out with you, she's scared of something, she was, any mental issues like depression, she talked about, she hated life.
I know she had POTS disorder. I think that's what it's called, where you pass out. I know that's what her mom was talking about.
When did mom talk about that?
When I visited her in the hospital.
Yeah. So after.
How many times have you talked to Kenzie since the accident?
I only got to see her once.
You got to see her once?
Yeah.
What was she like?
Not happy in the hospital bed.
I mean, my takeaway from having visited her twice was she didn't seem to care too much that she killed her boyfriend, another guy. Did you get the same feelings?
When I walked in, she was broken. She was absolutely devastated. And she wouldn't shut up about that. Like, she would only talk about that.
Paul described visiting a young woman who was devastated. He also raised something else, something her mother had mentioned to him during one of his hospital visits. Natalie had told him about a medical condition Mackenzie had been diagnosed with back in 2017 when she was just 13 years old. It was called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, POTS, a disorder of the autonomic nervous system, the system that controls the body's involuntary functions, like heart rate and blood pressure. In people with POTS, the body struggles to regulate blood flow properly when a person moves from lying down to standing up, causing the heart rate to spike rapidly. The result can be dizziness, lightheadedness, and in some cases, a sudden and complete loss of consciousness, a blackout with no warning and no memory of what happened during it. Mackenzie's mother said she had seen it happen. She had watched her daughter faint before, and now, sitting in that hospital room in the days after the crash, it was the explanation Natalie was giving. It was the first time a medical explanation had been raised in connection with what had happened on Progress Drive. The first significant shift came from inside the car itself. The 2018 Toyota Camry was equipped with an event data recorder, the so-called black box, and what it showed stopped investigators in their tracks. For the entire 4.6 seconds before impact, the accelerator pedal had been pressed to 100%, not partially, not gradually, all the way down, and held there. In those same 4.6 seconds, the brake was never applied, not once, not even a fraction. Sergeant Adam McQuaid, a certified crash team expert in event data recorder analysis, worked through the data in detail. The car had been traveling at approximately 97 miles per hour in the seconds before impact, averaging 88.86 miles per hour across the final 2 seconds. In the last 3 seconds before the wall, the steering wheel moved, right then left, then a hard 142-degree yank to the right. The gear shift went from drive to neutral, then back to drive. Prosecutor Tim Troop had a clear interpretation of what those movements meant. He did not believe they came from the driver. He believed they came from the passengers. He said, "I think the boys were trying to save their lives. I think Dominic and Davion were yanking on the wheel, grabbing at the gear shift, and it was just too late." Forensic mechanical expert Mark Sargent examined the vehicle itself and found no pre-existing mechanical or electrical fault. The brakes, the steering, the tires, the acceleration, all working properly. The car had not malfunctioned. He also noted that one of Mackenzie's fuzzy slippers had come to rest over the accelerator pedal, a detail that would attract significant attention. Some wondered whether it had jammed the pedal accidentally. Mark Sargent's conclusion was that its position was consistent with a foot actively pressing it down, not a slipper randomly lodging itself there. He said he had never, in his career, investigated a crash in which the accelerator had been at 100% for the full duration with no braking whatsoever. Early suspicion naturally fell on drugs. Mackenzie had been carrying psilocybin mushrooms concealed in her clothing at the time of the crash, and marijuana had been found in her purse. But the toxicology results that came back complicated that theory, and the results themselves came with an important caveat. True crime queen Annie Elise, who had access to original documents about the case as part of a documentary she took part in, revealed further details about the toxicology report. According to those documents, a blood sample was taken at the hospital in the immediate aftermath of the crash, but the order was subsequently cancelled by the physician, and those samples were discarded by the ER without being tested. The first blood sample that was actually submitted for toxicology testing was not collected until several days after the crash.
Already in the evening, there was talk and potential use of acid, alcohol, other drugs, and 6.91 grams of shrooms that were found. Now, what's frustrating is when Mackenzie got to the hospital, there were samples taken from the physician. No tox report, but samples were taken. Then it was canceled by the physician. So the ER, who had blood samples, ended up discarding those samples. First blood sample wasn't collected until 3 or 4 days later. Then it was tested, and that's why the only thing that showed was THC. So there's no way to really prove what in fact she and they were or were not taking that evening.
What that delayed sample showed was THC, the active chemical in marijuana, above Ohio's legal threshold. There was no alcohol, there was no psilocybin. But as Annie Elise noted, by the time that sample was taken, any other substances that may have been in Mackenzie's system on the morning of July 31st, including the psilocybin mushrooms found on her person, alcohol, or anything else, would no longer have been detectable. The toxicology results could only tell investigators what remained in her system days after the event. What was actually in her system at the moment of the crash cannot be established with certainty from that evidence alone. Investigators noted that Mackenzie appeared to be a habitual marijuana user, not simply from the toxicology result, but from their wider investigation. A review of her social media showed her regularly using marijuana, and friends who were spoken to confirmed she used drugs frequently, and that it was not out of the ordinary for her.
They called her baby because
Yeah, what's that? Just because she smokes so much weed?
she smokes weed, and there's pictures on her Instagram, but I'm sure she took it down now.
Yeah,
Of
we've
her
seen-
in cars smoking weed.
Yeah, we have those.
I know from a lot of people telling me, and even her closest friends, that Kenzie and Dom used to fight all the time.
Okay.
And she
That is
used to
something
road
I
rage
know.
all the time. I remember someone told me that she dropped Dom off on the highway because they got in a fight. So she was just known for being that kind of girl in high school and as well out of high school.
Anger issues.
Yeah.
So she road raged, even kicked him out on the highway once.
Yeah. She just drove him crazy, and we just don't know how he dealt with it.
Investigators also spoke to Kelly Vraja, whose house the group had visited earlier that evening. Kelly confirmed that the group had arrived at her home with substances, and that Mackenzie had asked her whether it would be okay if they took mushrooms at her house. Kelly said no. The group stayed for less than an hour and then left, the mushrooms still with them.
Davion asked to come, and I remember Kenzie asking me a while ago. She asked to come a while ago, but she never texted me that day. Davion texted me that day and was like, hey, can I still come to your graduation party? I was like, of course. And then he was like, I'm coming with Kenzie and Dom. So I'm like playing with my friends, and then Kenzie's like, hey, like, Kelly, come here. And I'm like, what's up? And she was like, do you trip? Which meaning like, do you do acid? And I was like, no, I don't do that. And like, I was like, especially like my mom's here, like, I don't want to do that. Like I feel like she was like asking, she didn't say the words, but I felt like she was asking me if I wanted to trip with them at my house. And then I'm like right by them, so I could still hear what Kenzie was talking about. And she was talking about going to Mark's house, and she was like, should we do it tonight? Like they were like debating still. Like it sounded like they were debating on if they should trip or not. And they were talking about Mark's house. And then like 20 minutes later, like they were not there long. And she had a pen on her. I don't know if it was her specifically, but they had a pen and they had a bottle of Patron. But they didn't drink there. Like they were there so like short amount of time, like they didn't even leave the spot they came in. They were sitting in the same spot the whole time and then left.
Was anything suspicious about their behavior?
Not at all. Not at all. They seemed completely normal.
Given all of this, Prosecutor Tim Troop said he did not believe Mackenzie had been impaired by marijuana at the time of the crash. What the toxicology could not do, given the delay, was definitively rule out the presence of other substances at the time of impact. The drugs in the end did not explain it, but whether the full picture of what was in that car that morning was ever truly known is a question the evidence cannot entirely answer. Then came the detail that for many investigators changed everything. Cell phone location data recovered from Mackenzie's phone showed that she had been in the area of Progress Drive and Alameda Drive before. not just on the morning of the crash, but 3 days earlier, on July 28, 2022. Progress Drive is an industrial cut-through. It is not a road anyone passes through by chance. It connects nothing of note, leads nowhere residential, and had no obvious reason to feature within her daily routine. There was no shop there, no friend's house, no landmark of any kind that would explain her presence, and yet, 3 days before the crash, her phone had placed her at that exact location. The prosecution's interpretation was straightforward. She had been there to scout it, to see the road, to see the building at the end, to understand, at close quarters, what would happen if a car struck it at speed. Combined with the black box data, the crash now looked very different. Not a moment of impulse, not a medical event, but something planned. In March 2023, prosecutors submitted the full accumulated body of evidence to the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office and formally requested a reconsideration of the manner of death findings. That evidence included the GPS data, the black box analysis, the text messages, the social media material, the witness accounts, and the cell phone records. Documents that had been generated by the Strongsville Police Department but had never previously been passed to the Medical Examiner's Office. As part of that wider investigation, Detective Hazoo had also extensively reviewed Mackenzie's social media history, and not just her behavior following the crash. He found videos of her behind the wheel, phone in hand, footage showcasing a pattern of reckless and distracted driving that predated July 31st entirely. It added yet another layer to the picture investigators were building. Forensic pathologist Dr. Joseph Philo, who had conducted both autopsies and was the chief deputy medical examiner for Cuyahoga County, reviewed the additional material and amended his reports. The manner of death for both Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan was changed from accident to homicide. In his amended findings, Dr. Philo cited what the investigation had revealed about the driver's intention of inflicting self-harm and harm onto the passengers in her vehicle. It was a formal, official reclassification, and it meant that what had begun as a traffic accident investigation had become a murder case. On November 4th, 2022, 3 months and 4 days after the crash, Mackenzie Shirilla was arrested while on her way home from physical therapy.
Right back there, pals.
Hi, Mackenzie. Step out for me. I'm Detective Hazoo. I'm the one who's been investigating the crash. You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2, okay? Nobody's gonna ask you any questions. Nobody's gonna bother you. Can I have your key, please?
Could you please be careful taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet, please?
You got it. You got it.
Do you want my vest?
No.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, just keep your hand right here.
Body camera footage of the arrest, released publicly in 2025, captures the moment an officer handcuffs her as she cries. As he secures the restraints, she asks him to be careful not to break her bracelet, a piece of jewelry she later said had been a gift from Dominic.
I'm not gonna tighten these, okay? We don't want to hurt you. This cruiser right here.
Actually, he took her out of the car, we did not.
You have anything I can find? It's your head going in.
Once placed in the police car, Mackenzie sat in the back, visibly shocked, sobbing as they drove her to the station. Once at the police station, she was escorted inside and asked to remove the rest of her jewelry.
Camera, try that black mat. Straight forward. Yep. You tell that door. Click on that yellow line and just face the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, Mackenzie, I'm gonna take your handcuffs off. I need like all the jewelry and everything to come off, okay?
I can't wear any of it.
No, I need you to take it off while you're in jail right now.
I can't wear these.
Now, unfortunately, everything's gonna have to come off right now once we know when the detective comes back and we know for sure what's going on. Everything's gonna be bagged up here. It's not going anywhere.
Sorry, this is just like one of the really hard to get off.
That's fine. Take it then.
What are the green, or those extensions, clips? Or when we get to
I
take
can't
those
take
out?
them out. They're like in my they're like. Unless you have flyers, we can get them out.
All right, Mackenzie, just hang on up that wall to your right.
Her parents rushed to the station, shocked, angry, and desperate to find out more information about their daughter's arrest. They were angry that she had been arrested so publicly and were doing everything they could to get in to speak to her.
But I need to speak to my daughter because you guys aren't allowed to speak to her at all. That's from the lawyer. He does not want you guys speaking to her. And I can get him on the phone, as you can tell you that over the phone if that works, or I can go in and tell her not to open her mouth. But how you guys did this on the weekends is just, what all you do is go, hey, there's a warrant for her. We would have brought her right down here with no problem, but you haven't. It's just unbelievable. I mean, 18.
So the warrant was issued today, so we executed it today. The warrant wasn't issued earlier.
Well, you could have made a phone call, couldn't you? You had your creeper out in front of my yard watching.
She can't take any, she's an adult, she can't take any phone calls right now. She'll be transferred downtown.
Okay.
I don't know when.
Service just called to advise.
She'll be transferred downtown.
Okay, well, I still need to speak to my daughter so she understands what her, not to say anything to you guys.
Okay, and I don't know about the phone. We'd have to ask about that.
We'll roll out the whole mass to pick up an 18-year-old girl we could hardly walk out of a hospital visit. It's just beyond.
So we follow the law, and that's what we're doing today. So her, the phone that was in her hand is the one that we took, but I'd have to check with the detective to find out what's going on with that. I don't know the answer to that.
Can we find out? I do need it like right now.
Let me at least.
I have
ask.
another child.
Oh, I get it. But you gotta let the.
So yeah. Thank you.
Am I going to be allowed to have a 2-minute conversation with her?
You cannot talk to her while she's here. No.
Why doesn't she get a
Well,
phone
she has
call?
legal
She arrested her. Why don't
representative.
she get a phone call?
She was just brought in. They're going to process her. As soon as they get the time for her to make a phone call, she will be able to make a phone call.
You just need to advise her. She has a lawyer.
She's a lawyer. She does have a lawyer.
She is 18 years old and she could speak
Yeah,
that.
but she's a dumb 18-year-old that just turned 18.
Well,
And you guys are no.
Okay.
Most all the kids nowadays are dumb, and these guys are going to take advantage of her. She's not allowed to speak to you guys. I'm
Listen,
telling you that.
her
from
attorney
lawyer.
can call us.
Don't ask her any questions.
They were angry that she had been arrested so publicly and were doing everything they could to get in to speak to her.
What happens now? What am I doing?
Okay, well, Mackenzie's 18, so
The lawyer said they called and said that, not to talk to any cops because she's legal counsel.
yeah, and we read her rights because she's 18. Yeah, we are not going to ask her any questions. We have nothing to ask her, so we're not going to ask her anything anyway. So when we're done with our booking process, she will likely be processed downtown. We'll transport her downtown.
I
She'll
don't
get-
even know where downtown is. What even is that?
Yeah,
What
well, and I don't know, or did they move?
Juvenile, she'll be going to the Juvenile Detention Center.
I can just Google that in the map.
Google the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Detention Center. And then what happens there, we still don't know, because at the time of the crime, she was a juvenile.
Yeah.
However, now she's 18. So there is a very good chance that they will process her in the Juvenile Detention Center and then send her to the Justice Center.
Where the 18 and overs are.
Where the adults are.
So they will eat her alive.
So we're unsure how they're going to handle it, but that's their processes that have nothing to do with
Once
us.
we transport her downtown, we don't have anything to do with how that process is going to work.
Where is she staying? Downtown? Wherever
She'll
downtown?
stay at either at the
Juvenile
Detention
jail.
Center or the Justice Center.
Yeah.
One of the two.
You know
Whatever.
what time she'll be, the time?
Right now she's going. Within the next, I'd say 15 minutes.
I would say go to
She's fine. She's fine.
I know she's, when she got taken away, she was like, it's okay. I know this is just a tragedy. So, okay. So that's it, then I'm done with you guys?
That's it.
Yeah. And again, any other questions that you have, if you call, we will say nothing.
Okay, I'm talking to the police. They gave me my call back and she's actually getting transferred to juvie in the next couple of minutes. Okay. No, she knows, and they're not going to ask her any questions anyway. And they read her rights. She knows all that, so I'll come into the car. Bye.
So as the evening progresses, if you would have questions, we can't answer any of the questions. You have to be referred to your attorney, because the attorney talks to our prosecutor's office and all that, and they can work through those details. And anything to do with the detention home or county, we have nothing to do with that. It's their process. So you're going to be out the door here soon and on the way down to county. And
So I look up because I came here. Juvenile detention downtown.
Cuyahoga County Juvenile Detention Center. It's on the east side of Cleveland. Yeah.
Mackenzie was initially charged with 17 offences in total, including those 2 counts of aggravated murder, but because she was 17 years old at the time of the crash, the case was first filed in Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court. At a probable cause hearing, the court found insufficient evidence to support the aggravated murder charges specifically, but found probable cause for murder, felonious assault, aggravated vehicular homicide, drug possession, and possession of criminal tools. The case was transferred to the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas. She would be tried as an adult. A grand jury then returned a formal 12-count indictment: 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, 1 count of drug possession, and 1 count of possessing criminal tools. On April 13th, 2023, Mackenzie was arraigned, appearing via Zoom from the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Detention Facility, where she remained in custody. She pleaded not guilty. Jamie Flanagan, Davion's mother, addressed the judge directly at the arraignment, saying,
"My name is Jamie Flanagan. I'm the victim Davion's mother, and I have Christine with me too, the other victim's mother. And we just ask that you please, Your Honor, take into account the victims. This has been an absolutely devastating loss for our families. We ask that you, when you're looking at the bond, please keep it the same or raise it. We feel that Mackenzie is a threat to both herself and the community if she were to be released. And just thank you for your time."
Bond was set at $500,000, but was not posted. The judge also issued a no-contact order, instructing Mackenzie that neither she, her friends, nor her family members were to have any contact with the victims' families.
Court accepts the not guilty plea. Original bond is intended $500,000 cash surety property. DNA must be submitted. Also, no contact with victims' family. Miss, that means yourself, your friends, your family members may not have any contact with the alleged victim's family's member. Do you understand that? Yes? Alright.
There was also a separate matter running in parallel. On July 19th, 2022, 12 days before the crash, a break-in and vandalism had occurred at the Columbia Church of God on Route Road in Columbia Station. Mackenzie faced charges in connection with that incident too, prosecuted in its own proceeding and entirely unrelated to the deaths of Dominic and Davion. But it was the 12 counts that would define what came next. The prosecution's position was unambiguous. This was not a tragic accident, and it was not reckless driving. It was premeditated murder, planned by a 17-year-old girl who could not accept that her relationship was ending, and who had decided that if she could not have Dominic Russo, no one would. Davion Flanagan, they argued, had simply been in the wrong seat.
Tim Troop on behalf of the state of Ohio. I would echo Ms. Flanagan's request to the court that the bond be maintained. This bond was set by juvenile Judge O'Malley after a 3-day probable cause hearing. She heard from multiple experts. The evidence in this case overwhelmingly indicates that these were intentional and purposeful deaths. And so we would ask the bond to be maintained, Your Honor. Thank you.
The investigation was over and the case was heading to court. The bench trial of Mackenzie Shirilla began on August 7, 2023, at the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas in Cleveland. She was now 19 years old. In Ohio, a defendant has the right to choose between a jury trial and a bench trial, where a judge alone hears the evidence and delivers the verdict. On the advice of her trial attorney, James McDonnell, Mackenzie waived her rights to a jury and elected a bench trial. That decision would place the entire weight of her fate in the hands of one person, Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Judge Nancy Margaret Russo, no relation to Dominic. Before testimony began, Judge Russo took an unusual step. She personally visited several of the locations central to the case: Progress Drive, the crash site, the route the three teenagers had traveled that morning. She wanted to see it for herself. The trial ran for 4 days, and what unfolded was, in essence, 2 completely different accounts of what had happened and why. The prosecution was led by Assistant Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Tim Troop. His case was built on a single central argument that everything about this crash, the route, the time, the speed, the absence of any braking, pointed not to an accident, but to a decision. A deliberate, premeditated decision made by Mackenzie, who had decided that if she could not keep Dominic Russo, she would end him. James McDonnell's defense rested on a different reading of the same facts. Mackenzie, he argued, had not intentionally driven that car into a wall. She had lost consciousness at the wheel. She had a diagnosed medical condition, POTS, that could cause sudden dizziness, lightheadedness, and fainting. Something had happened in those final seconds that no living witness could account for, and in the absence of certainty, he argued, there could be no murder conviction. Those were the 2 positions. What followed was 4 days of evidence. Tim Troop opened by walking the court through the surveillance footage of the crash. The court watched the car accelerate down the road and disappear into the building. The sound of the impact was audible on the footage. Several people in the courtroom looked away. Patrol Officer Michael Galassi described what he found when he arrived: a car that looked as though it had been cut in half, 2 young men dead, a girl wedged under the dashboard with her foot still on the accelerator. Paramedic Brett Stanislaw testified about Mackenzie's condition on extrication, her blood oxygen level at a critically low 82%, when a normal level is 95 or above, her body broken in multiple places. Her pulse, motor function, and sensation in her 4 extremities were all normal, which he said ruled out a stroke, seizure, or other significant neurological emergency at the time of his assessment. However, under cross-examination, Stanislaw acknowledged that Mackenzie could have suffered a seizure before he arrived, and that by the time he reached her, there would be no signs of it. He also noted that her blood oxygen level of 82 was indicative of someone who had just gone into cardiac arrest, or had just come back out of it, a detail the defense would later point to as consistent with a medical episode. Trauma surgeon Dr. Esther Seng read directly from Mackenzie's medical report. Patient then became tearful, processing heavy loss and depression since her accident. Patient shared feelings of grief, guilt, and shame. Patient stated she wanted to die and that it was her fault for killing her boyfriend. Dr. Seng also confirmed that Mackenzie had told medical staff she did not remember what had led to the crash. Sergeant Adam McQuaid walked the court through the event data recorder findings: 100% accelerator, 0 braking for the full 4.6 seconds before impact, the steering wheel going right, then left, then 142 degrees hard, right, the gear shift moving from drive to neutral and back to drive. Forensic mechanical expert Mark Sargent confirmed there was no fault in the vehicle. The car had not malfunctioned. The slipper near the accelerator was consistent, in his view, with a foot actively pressing it down. He said he had never, in his career, investigated a crash with full accelerator depression and 0 braking for the full duration. Trooper Elliot Rawson placed the speed at 97 miles per hour in the seconds before impact. Christine Russo, Dominic's mother, took the stand and described 6 months of deteriorating behavior. The fighting, the threats, the possessiveness, the breakups and reconciliations.
Let me key my car. Tell me to break the door.
Do not let me in the house.
You're going to key my car. You find it how much?
If you don't let me in the house, yes.
She threatened his property. She threatened to break into his house.
Correct.
Did Dominic threaten the defendant?
No.
How would you describe Dominic's tone on these videos?
Very calm.
How would you describe the defendant's tone on these videos?
Irate and angry.
Christopher Martin testified about what he had heard over the phone and what he had witnessed on the shoulder of Interstate 71 on July 17th. Mackenzie's threat to wreck the car, her hands swinging at Dominic as he tried to get out.
He observed at that time the defendant striking Dominic Russo with both hands, and that he overheard her make a statement, an admissible statement, and she said, "Dominic, I'm going to crash this car." We find that it is especially and important to her state of mind just 2 weeks later when she used the car to kill Dominic Russo.
Under cross-examination, Martin acknowledged he had not reported the incident to police at the time it occurred. Angelo Russo testified that his brother had been trying to end the relationship for weeks. He read from text messages Mackenzie had sent him after the crash, including the one asking him to put photographs of her and Dominic in the casket, so that Dominic could, in her words, be with me forever. Natalie Shirilla took the stand for the defense, testifying about the POTS diagnosis confirmed in 2017, and said that Mackenzie had fainted before on more than one occasion. Tim Troop also addressed the POTS defense directly. He argued that even if Mackenzie had a medical condition that could cause her to black out, she had continued to drive regardless, making that diagnosis not a defense, but further evidence of her recklessness and disregard for the lives of those around her. James McDonnell did not call a medical expert to testify about POTS, its symptoms, or its potential to cause loss of consciousness at the wheel. He did not introduce Mackenzie's medical records. The GPS evidence was placed before the court. Mackenzie's phone had been detected near Progress Drive on July 28th, 3 days before the crash. She had been there before. In his closing argument, James McDonnell made a notable concession, acknowledging that Mackenzie could have been reckless in her operation of the vehicle.
How can you come to any conclusion other than, if anything, she's reckless? Is it just kids being kids? Is it Dominic grabbing the steering wheel? Is it Mackenzie maybe speeding and say, "Oh my God, park out, it's late, I'm coming up to this, I better do something," and she goes like that to avoid an accident, not acting purposely, but in fact trying to avoid it? Is it sudden acceleration, panic? Those are all possibilities.
But recklessness, he argued, was not murder. The evidence of intent was entirely circumstantial. The EDR data could not tell you what was in a driver's mind, and the existence of a volatile relationship was not the same as proof she had set out that morning to kill anyone. The one thing no one could explain away, he said, was the possibility that Mackenzie had simply, without warning, lost consciousness, and that without being able to rule that out, the prosecution had not met its burden. Troop's closing argument was direct. He said, "She drove the car into the wall. She made up her mind and never went back. There is no doubt that this happened because of the relationship with Dominic, and the defendant's intent was clearly to end that, and she took everybody that was in the car with her. Whether it was enough would be for Judge Nancy Margaret Russo to decide." All calls made from Cuyahoga County Jail are recorded, and Mackenzie Shirilla knew this. And yet, in the weeks and months following her arrest and conviction, a series of phone calls between Mackenzie, her friends, and her mother Natalie were made and recorded.
How you think I did, okay?
Yeah, that prosecutor was pissing me off, though. I don't know what was like.
I know, I'm like...
I was getting so pissed off. Like, I wanted to, like, get up and be like, shut the fuck up, and, like, tell him to sit, like, so bad. He was pissing me off.
I was ready for anything. We got nothing to hide. You could ask me anything you want.
All I've been eating is peanut butter bread and cookies.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that you get. Please have somebody get that word for you.
I know, I'm going to. This is just irritating.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I don't like how I can't come out of my room. Why the fuck am I on a 7-day hold? That just pisses me off.
It's just part of the procedure. There's nothing you can do about that.
There's a third victim, and it's me, and I lost the love of my life and a good friend, and now I have to deal with this grief the rest of my life and deal with, like, being scared to drive and stuff. Like, that's just, like...
I know, honey. There's nothing I can do about that, so...
Can you just pay my bond and get me out of here, please? like go to a bail bondsman and see if they can take the 10%? Why aren't you listening? I'm gonna hang.
I am listening. It's just taking with somebody. When you were talking, I don't know how much an appeal is. Okay, so can we just wait until Monday? Okay.
Yeah, let's just wait until Monday when I can just they're probably gonna take my bond away at Monday.
That's what I mean. So let's just wait.
What do you mean? That's what you mean. They're probably gonna say there's no more bond on Monday.
No, we don't know if that's true or not. I know this whole situation. You're just gonna have to wait.
This is just wrong. What they're doing
I know it
is
is.
so wrong, and they're just trying
I
to
know.
use it.
I know.
Yes, I'm
I know.
getting very irritated. Like, and I need to get the fuck out of jail because they're just trying to fuck me over bad as fuck.
What those recordings captured was deeply unsettling, a window into a mindset that seemed entirely at odds with the gravity of what she had been convicted of. In a call with a friend before the verdict, Mackenzie described the charges against her as literally insane. She called the crash a car accident and referred to herself as a third victim, adding that she didn't understand why she had survived only to be arrested, and said she believed there was something good planned for her.
So Monday, you're gonna be like finding out?
Yeah, if I'm guilty or not. But I'm gonna be on the news again, so you will see too.
Holy shit.
Monday at 1 o'clock, I'll be probably on the news again.
Why are they so obsessed with you? Like, you got in a fucking car accident. Like, I've gotten in 3 of those. Like,
I didn't do this on purpose. Like, I got in a car accident. I'm a third victim. Like, and they just think that like it was all some like joke, and like that I was like, oh yeah, I just wanted to do this on purpose to the love of my life and a friend. Like that's
right.
the dumb, crazy thing I ever heard in my life. Like,
he was the love of your life.
Like every time I talked to you, I was with him. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I would never hurt him, like ever. And yeah, we argued, but like, what about the video? Like, man, they just tried to make it seem like I was like this like abusive girlfriend to him. But they didn't show anything he did to me, which is just so.
There's always 2 sides. There's always 2 sides.
There's evil working against me, like, and then I'm like, why would I be saved to live like life if like they were just gonna arrest me? And like, I don't understand. They brought me back to life just to put me in jail. Like that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, so then like I try to think that like, damn, maybe there's like something good for me planned. Maybe like this is all a part of my story, and then I'm gonna write my book when I get out of here and shit. But then like, what if I'm just like, my life is just meant to be fucked, and I'm meant to fucking sit in jail my whole life and shit, like for something I didn't even do on purpose, like for a fucking crash, a car accident. Like, and then people on social media just are like talking so much shit about me on like the Strongsville police page and like all over like the news thing. People are just like saying crazy shit about me, and I'm like, none of you guys even know me. Like, I don't know. And I had to like change my Instagram name and shit. Like, I don't like, because people like, when you look up my name on Google, my Instagram comes up.
So wait, how many days have you done trial? Like 3?
I've been in trial for 4 days, but I've been in jail 9 months. Not in the county though. I've been in the county on Monday, so it's about to be 1 week here.
Okay.
Which is just like, once again, crazy as fuck. Like a week in this bitch, like, what the fuck? There's this one girl who just like is like talks to herself like all day long. She's in the room like right by me. She's like, ma'am, like all day long. I'm like, girl, like shut the fuck up. Like she's pissing me off so bad. Like I don't like her. Like she's so irritating. Like.
In another recorded call, Mackenzie and her mother Natalie discussed the media coverage the case had attracted. Natalie asked her to stay on the protective floor as the case had become sensationalized.
Mackenzie, I think I need you to stay on that protective floor.
Why?
Because it's everywhere.
What's everywhere?
It's completely sensationalized.
What?
The story, your story, is everywhere.
What does that mean?
I think it's like on national news. It's everywhere.
Why do you think?
Because I can see it. It's everywhere.
Right now?
Yeah. So just stay there.
No.
Or just tell people, you know, we can't say anything on the phone, okay? But just say there's more. Just don't believe everything you hear, and we're, you know, whatever. But it's completely out of hand. Don't say anything on this phone.
Wait, so what do you mean? I'm just really nervous. You just gave me anxiety. Like, what does that mean?
I didn't mean to give you anxiety.
Okay? I just would like for you to stay there. I have to be able to tell you to stay there, and you're asking me why. I'm telling you why.
Well, like, you're acting like it's bad? Like, what are they just saying? Like, who is posting about it? Like, Fox or something? Not like Fox, like Today Show and shit like that? Like,
Not them yet. But
who posted it then?
I think it's like in New York. Somebody saw it in Virginia or something.
You should make a Facebook page, like a Facebook group where it's like Mackenzie and stuff like that, and like.
So I'll talk to somebody about it. I'm going to talk to somebody about it, but I would like for you just to be safe. Okay?
I'm gonna be safe, but you're making me nervous. Like, why do I have to hide? Like, what?
I don't want because I don't want people just to believe what there is being said. You know what I
You're
mean?
acting like I'm the only person charged with murder in here, though. Like,
I know exactly. That's what I would just like for you to be safe. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I know that 85% of the people in there are not guilty.
Mid-call, Natalie received a text from her sister saying the case had been published in England. They both laughed and joked about Kim Kardashian reaching out due to Mackenzie's newfound fame.
It was published in England.
What?
Yeah.
It's world news?
I think the Daily Mail just publishes it in all their publications, but yeah, the UK.
It's on the Daily Mail?
In UK.
Maybe Kim Kardashian will reach out herself.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping. We're getting there. I was going to do this anyway, so this is great.
And they could just reach out to us.
Mm-hmm. Craziness, baby girl.
Okay. Oh, this is what, so wait, it's all over the world right now. How did you know that? Why didn't you tell me that when you told me I was on just national news? Or you just
There's 1 minute left. Are you going to call me back?
Do you want me to? Or do you have to work?
I do have to work a little bit. Because, as the news articles are coming in, my sisters are sending me screenshots. So.
Yes, take all the screenshots, because this is just going to be crazy when I come out and fucking
make a little scrapbook.
That's an innocent ass bitch. But anyways, I love you so much, Mom.
I love you so much. Yeah, please call me again if you can. I would hate to hang up and then miss.
No, it's okay. I'll call you again soon. I'll call you again today.
Okay.
For sure. I don't know when, but I will call you again as soon as I can again. I'll call you, I'll let you work for a minute, alright?
I know the hella messages. I know you'll be okay. I love you, Mark.
I love you, Mom. Alright?
Me too. Just don't talk about the case with anyone.
But I love you so much.
Even if they try and ask you a question, keep your spidey senses up.
I will.
Okay?
I know, Mom. I just love you, Mom.
I love you too.
Tell everyone I said I love them, and to keep fighting for me and to free me.
Oh my God, girl.
Bullshit.
Thank you for using.
I love you.
Goodbye.
In the next recorded call between mother and daughter, you can tell that the tone had shifted. Natalie was more guarded this time, repeatedly warning Mackenzie to keep quiet, not to talk to anyone, not to share anything about her situation with anybody. She made it clear she didn't want anyone knowing anything about Mackenzie. She was visibly aware that the calls were being recorded, and it showed. But Mackenzie didn't seem too concerned. She spoke casually about how many years she thought she would get, as though it were little more than a number on paper. And then, she jokingly spoke about her legal team, mentioning that she had fired her lawyer.
And I don't want to give anybody anything. I don't want to tell anybody.
What should I say? Hey to them or what? Like, hey, bald head. Hey, tiny girl. Hey, Jesse. Like, what's up?
Tell them how we're doing. I don't want them to know that you have to poop. I don't want them to know that you're on. You know, I don't want them to know fucking anything.
They can know. I'm about to take a fat ass shit and pretend it's on them. Fuck.
I don't want them to know anything. I don't even want them to know about how much he loved you and you loved him, because they're dirty and gross. I hate that all of our calls are recorded and that we don't get to have any intimate conversations about anything. I don't want them to know how you slept. I don't want them to know what you had for breakfast. I hate them. Okay?
I know. I'm about to ask for a private call. Do you think they're going to give me more than, like, 40 years? Because I'm thinking yes. I think I'm getting life in prison.
That's what I'm prepared for that. That's what I'm prepared for.
Diamond, can we get private calls here? Like, with a social worker? How do I talk to my lawyer, then, without, like, it being, like, public? I don't have a lawyer yet, though, right now. I fired my lawyer. I'm dead.
It's not that you fired him. He's done.
No, we fucking fired him. I don't give a fuck. He's fired. He's fired. But, like, they're acting like I killed, like, 85 people. Like, I didn't kill nobody. Like,
You gotta keep up with my case when you go home. You can come to my court if you want. But if you don't want to... I'm dead as fuck. We need you there. I'm dead as fuck. You funny as fuck.
You have 1 minute left.
I don't know, Troop. He's bald as fuck and shiny and has a roll in his neck. I have a girl and a boy and a detective against me. Alright, Mom. I love you so much, Mom. I'm gonna talk to you again. What time can I call you again? Like, call you my next time I come out?
What time is that?
I don't know.
Maybe around 9, after 9.
If I can call you around 9, I'll call you around 9, but it might be a little bit later.
That's fine. That's okay. Just let me work for a little bit.
I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you.
I love you too. I love you too.
On August 14th, 2023, Judge Nancy Margaret Russo delivered her verdict from the bench. She began by addressing the nature of the crash itself, not as a moment of impulse or chaos, but as something far more deliberate. She told the court that Mackenzie's actions had been controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful.
I have done what I am sworn to do. I have carefully and deliberately considered all the evidence in this case, including the testimony of the witnesses, the science, the expert opinions offered, the medical evidence, physical evidence, the photographs, and the video evidence. There is nothing that I can do or say today that will return these two young men to their families. There is nothing I can say or do that restore Mackenzie Shirilla to the life she had before July 31st, 2022. And there is nothing that I can say or do to restore the lives of these three families before the fateful moments on that day.
She addressed the surveillance footage directly and questioned whether Mackenzie had perhaps intended to die in the crash herself, making it clear that a failed suicide attempt is not a defense to murder.
And at this point, I would like to comment specifically on Exhibit 802, the crash video. This is the type of evidence you can never unsee. You can never forget the visual or audio of this exhibit. It is chilling and tragic. As you review that exhibit, you know that you are watching the oncoming deaths of two people, and there is nothing that will stop it. The video clearly shows a purpose and intent of the defendant. She chose a course of death and destruction that day. Exhibit 802 crystallizes the deadly decision-making of the defendant. She morphs from a responsible driver to literal hell on wheels as she makes her way down the street. Mackenzie alone made the decision to drive the car, to drive an obscure route, a route she visited a few days before, and a route not routinely taken by her. Mackenzie alone chose the time to make the drive, early in the morning, when any reasonable person would expect that few people would be nearby to witness it or offer life-saving assistance. She made these decisions despite knowing, as any reasonable person would, that her mission of death could have involved others, not even in the car with her. Other people, other cars, pedestrians. She had a mission, and she executed it with precision. The mission was death. Mackenzie alone decided to push the pedal to the floor and demand the ultimate speed of that vehicle to 90 to 100 miles per hour. She alone decided what was to be. Mackenzie decided death was the ultimate goal that day, and she alone made that decision for Dominic and Davion, and she continuously acted in a manner to achieve her purpose. Whether or not she intended to also kill herself is a matter of speculation. They have no relevance to the weighing of the evidence in this case. The totality of the evidence clearly demonstrates that Mackenzie Shirilla acted purposely and intentionally in the early morning hours of July 31st, 2022. Her purpose was to kill Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan. No reasonable fact finder could view the totality of this evidence in this case and come to any other conclusion. Her actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
And then she delivered her verdict.
Count 1. The court, having had count 1 tried to it pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of murder, to wit Dominic Russo, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02A is charged in count 1. Count 2. The court, having had count 2 tried to in pursuant to waiver, finds its defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of murder, to wit Davion Flanagan, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02A is charged in count 2 of the indictment. Count 3, murder. The court, having had count 3 tried to in pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of murder, to wit Dominic Russo.
Mackenzie Shirilla was found guilty on all 12 counts. 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, 1 count of drug possession, 1 count of possessing criminal tools. Mackenzie broke down in tears as the verdict was read.
Count 12, possessing criminal tools. Court, having had count 12 tried to in pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant Mackenzie Shirilla guilty of possessing criminal tools in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2923.24A is charged in count 12.
19-year-old Mackenzie Shirilla was led out of the courtroom to wait for her sentencing, which was set for 1 week later.
Sentencing will be 1 week from today, August 21st at 1 p.m. If any party wishes to file a sentencing memorandum, it is to be filed by 4 p.m. on Thursday, August 17th.
The calls before the verdict had been laughing, casual, almost carefree, a young woman cracking jokes, talking about her book, giggling about being world news. But this call was different. Now with the verdict in, that girl was gone. In her place was a crying, panicked Mackenzie, on the line with her parents. Natalie and Steve were already telling her it wasn't over, that they would fight, that they would appeal, that this was not the end.
Hey, here's what I'm supposed to say. I know, Kenzie, listen, these phone calls are recorded. We are not allowed to talk about anything.
Well, we need a new lawyer is what we need.
No, not a new lawyer. We're going to file an appeal, okay?
No, and we need to get another lawyer. Look up.
Yes, that is what it is. Okay? Don't worry about anything. I can't talk about anything on the phone, Pumpkin. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I can't talk about any. Please don't say anything on the phone. It could ruin the appeal. Okay? I don't know. But we're not done yet, okay? And I can't talk about anything. So just have trust in us, please. Okay? But I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. I
did it. I thought it wasn't going to happen.
I mean, well, I guess I shouldn't say I knew it. I had a feeling.
Like, how much time do you think I'm going to get?
Oh, I'm sure they're going to probably, I don't know, baby. I'm sure they're going to go with the max.
The max?
Okay. Whatever the max is. I mean, they're being off the chart. Well, it's just, I don't even know. I don't even want to go there. It doesn't matter because we're going to fight. If Dom, oh my God, Dom would be flipping the fuck out right now, Pumpkin.
I know.
Hi, I love you, Pumpkin.
I love you too, Dad.
You got a raw deal. That judge, I'm sorry.
Daddy can't talk on the phone because he can't control himself. And that's okay, I understand.
You got screwed.
I know.
Okay. We just have to keep everything on the surface. Okay? Or we can't fight for you.
No, you
and
need
we're not
to.
going to do that to you. I know, but if we screw up and say things that can be used against us, then we can't fight for you. So Daddy can't talk.
I love you, Dad.
I love you.
And I don't need for one.
Okay. He's allowed to say that.
You did that on purpose.
Okay. Me either.
I know you're innocent.
Right. Amen.
What are people saying? It was live streamed, I heard.
I don't know. I'm saying off social. I don't even know. I'm not going on there. I'm getting kept out the ass so that people can't even believe it. And they're so sorry and oh my God and what the hell and what the fuck and are you kidding me? All that stuff. So
that is true.
Yeah.
We know you're innocent.
95% of the population does.
They know you got
okay? Right.
And like now I have all these charges and why did she have to like read them off all like that to make it like she could have just been like I find the defendant guilty on all charges.
That's how they do it.
I don't know.
That's how they do it.
Yeah, I think that's procedure. I don't know.
Not over yet.
Right.
Like, when I get out of jail, like, I'm gonna be, like, old. Like, what if one of you guys dies or something?
Kenzie, first of all, don't go there. Don't go there yet. Don't do that.
Yeah, please don't.
Okay? Because, honey, if we have to sell our house and come live by you so we can see you every day, then we will. Okay? Every day.
And then Natalie went further. She began coaching Mackenzie on how to write her apology letter to the victims' families, what to say, how to say it, and what they should each tell the court at the sentencing hearing.
It's going to be a rough week, and then Monday's going to freaking super suck, but don't worry, because we're just going to keep fighting. Monday, everybody gets to talk.
You get to talk?
Yep, but so do they. And what they have to say is going to be really, really hard for you to hear, but then you get to talk too.
I already know what I'm gonna say.
Remember, you cannot talk about anything with your friends. Nothing. Please promise, Mama, Kenzie.
I had to shut up.
Yeah, Daddy had to shut up and not say anything, and you got to not say anything.
What?
He did so good out there by not saying anything to anybody, because we just don't want to mess this up for you.
I forced everybody to go out a different door.
So what we're supposed to say is, thank you for your support. Please keep praying for us. We're filing an appeal. That's what we're supposed to say, and that's it.
I love you so much.
And then when we get off the phone, you can talk to your friends, right?
Yeah, I'm going
Thank you for using.
I love you. Bye.
Goodbye.
One week after the verdict, on August 21st, 2023, the parties returned to the court for sentencing. The courtroom was full. The families of Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan sat on one side, the Shirilla family on the other. Between them, the weight of everything that had happened since the early hours of July 31st, 2022. What happened next would determine the shape of the rest of Mackenzie Shirilla's life. Mackenzie had been convicted on 12 counts in total. Among them were 4 counts of murder, 2 for each victim. Under Ohio law, prosecutors had charged her under 2 separate theories of murder for each young man she had killed. The first was purposeful murder, that she had deliberately and intentionally caused their deaths. The second was felony murder, that their deaths had occurred as a direct result of her committing a felony, namely felonious assault. At sentencing, most of the remaining charges were merged into those murder counts. Under Ohio law, each murder count carried a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years to life. There was no discretion on that minimum, it was fixed. But Judge Russo faced a significant decision beyond that. She could choose to run those counts consecutively, one after another, meaning Mackenzie would not be eligible for parole for 60 years, effectively ensuring she would never leave prison, or she could run them concurrently, meaning they would be served simultaneously, bringing the minimum parole eligibility down to 15 years. It was, in effect, the difference between a sentence that extinguished any realistic hope of freedom and one that left a narrow door still open. Before Judge Russo delivered her decision, the court heard from both sides one last time. Davion's adoptive mother, Jamie Flanagan, spoke first. She described her son as an amazing soul with a heart of gold, someone who gave the world, she said, the kind of love that would rescue a friend in the middle of the night, no questions asked.
I want to share a small part of what we lost on 7/31/2022. My son Davion is and always will be so much more than cargo. He was precious. He was an amazing soul with a heart of gold. He gave to the world what he wanted most in his own life: love. The kind of love that would rescue a friend in the middle of the night, no questions asked. The kind that would protect others and honor them. He made friends easily with his infectious smile. He was a gifted athlete. He had plans to go to barber school and open his own shop. My son did not have a clique of friends, but instead was a friend to all. He would go out of his way to show love and kindness to others, including those that were often cast aside by society, the less fortunate, the developmentally challenged, the hurting, and the unvalued. Davion made sure that everyone that crossed his path knew that he truly saw them, that he valued them, and that they were worth his time. Davion and my kids have had more than their fair share of heartbreak, of hardship, and of loss. Davion was adopted with his sisters from foster care. They are biological siblings. We are honored to be chosen, or to have been chosen, to be their parents. Their forever family. I am devastated by the loss of Davion. The world lost a truly special man. My girls lost their best friend, their protector, the one and only trusted family that has been by their side from day one. He alone understands the pain and loss that they have gone through and was always there for them. This fact alone breaks my heart for my girls, for my family. So many dreams shattered, a future stolen. We will never get to see the amazing man that he was surely to become. His life was precious. Like I said, it was so much more than cargo. I pray daily for strength and perseverance for myself and for my family. I also pray that Mackenzie will find true remorse in her heart and true repentance. We thank all of those that worked so hard to help us bring justice for our son. We are forever thankful. Davion, we miss you terribly, but as Christians, we grieve with hope. We will make sure your memory lives on, and we ache for the day that we are united again in eternity. Thank you.
His sister Divine stood and addressed the judge, telling her how much her brother had meant to her and how deeply she missed him, and she asked the judge for the longest possible sentence.
Hello, could you start with your name? Hi, Your Honor. My name is Davion Flanagan. Davion was my older brother. The passing of Davion Markel Flanagan has been very difficult for me. We have gone through everything together since day one. Davion was a big brother to me and my younger sister Delia. We all got adopted together in 2012. After Davion passed away, a lot of trauma and past pain has came into my life, causing it to be difficult to heal from this trauma event, or this traumatic event. Davion was not just a big brother to me, but a role model in many ways. He was the person I trusted the most because he made me feel safe. He taught me the importance of cherishing each moment and enjoying life. The memories we have are strong, but losing him has shown me the value of life. Here's how God works in ways you can't understand, but is worth it in the end. I don't want this pain for anyone else. I hate the fact that he has gone because someone decided to take his life. Now that Davion is gone, I feel stuck. I feel as if I can't move forward. I feel lost. He was the one who picked me up when I fell. He was my best friend and the only person that has stayed with me since I was born. I would like you to give Mackenzie the longest possible sentence. I've known her for about 3 years, and as she's always taken the easy way out. She will be eligible for parole, while my brother will be gone forever. Thank you, Your Honor. Okay.
It was now the turn of the Russo family. First, Christine Russo, Dominic's mother, stood and addressed the court. She made a powerful statement about the girl who had killed her son.
No one wanted this to be a murder, or to punish Mackenzie Shirilla for this accident. But this was not a car accident. The evidence and science proved that Mackenzie Shirilla murdered my son, Dominic, as well as Davion. There's no fix put in this case, as the Shirillas would like to proclaim. I want to thank Strongsville Police Department and the state of Ohio for seeking the truth behind this crash. Thanks to them, we all know what happened in that car that day. What we don't know is why. I wish I could change this every day. I lost 3 children in that crash. Not a minute goes by each day that I don't think about my son, as well as Davion. My heart is forever broken. The cries heard from the Shirilla family and friends after the verdict are nothing more than a lack of remorse. Mackenzie Shirilla had a choice. Dom and Davion did not. We are all left here to mourn. July 31st, 2022, I called Mackenzie's mother, hysterical with the loss of my son and Davion. I knew Mackenzie was in the hospital, and the first statement said to me, was, oh, please don't listen to what everyone's saying on Facebook. Yeah, my son is dead, his friend is dead, and I'm checking on yours. Yet social media is what's important. Social media has made a game out of the life of Mackenzie and is making a game out of this heart-wrenching tragedy. No one can imagine the pain of losing a child unless they have lost one themselves. The pain is forevermore. Time does not heal this wound. Mackenzie, going to prison because you did this. Be thankful that you're still alive and have a future, whatever that may be. Dom and Davion were robbed of their futures, their hopes, and their dreams. Mackenzie showed no mercy on Dominic, nor did she on Davion. Only God at this time can have mercy on her soul. Thank you.
Next, it was Angelo Russo's turn, Dominic's older brother, and the person who had lived next door to the couple. He called his brother the most selfless person he had ever known, and called Mackenzie the most selfish.
Dom may have been young, but he made the most of each day and had an impact on the lives of his friends and his family. Dom was a businessman, an athlete, a song producer, and an entrepreneur. Dom was not only my brother, he was also my best friend, and the friends in this courtroom also say Dom was their best friend. Many of my brother's interests and goals were centered on learning more about himself and how he could become a better person. He was always doing what he could to learn about others, how he could understand different situations, different cultures, and how he could better the community. He read from various authors every day and even recommended to me countless books that have made me a better person and helped me understand the world better. A few months before he passed, he told me that he soon planned on joining a branch of the military. Admittingly, I was against this, but he felt the need to not only serve the community, but also his country. He gave me countless advice, and he also helped with anything and everything. Nothing said or done here today can describe the loss or repair our lives after this tragedy. Kenzie's statement in the hospital to Detective Azu, "Can't you just take my license away for 10 years or something?" That statement is Mackenzie Shirilla. The most selfish person I know. Ironically, Dom was the most selfless person I know. Mackenzie Shirilla murdered Dom and Davion in cold blood and had already moved on. Kenzie killed Dom over the thought of losing him, and she made Davion collateral damage. She was driving, going to concerts, and dressing up for Halloween, no thoughts of the families and lives that she had destroyed. As I said, Dom read a book every day. He started 2 companies. He recorded his own music, as well as recording music with myself and with friends. Dom helped anyone who ever needed a hand. He was an inspiration to everyone who had the honor of meeting Dominic. We love you, Dom. We love you, Davion. And God bless the both of you. Thank you so much.
After the victims' families were heard, Prosecutor Tim Troop addressed the judge. He had one more argument to make, not about the evidence that had secured the conviction, but about what had happened after. He presented Mackenzie's social media to the judge as evidence of what he described as a shocking lack of remorse.
Your Honor, there's very little that I can say after hearing from those who love Dominic and Davion in regards to the impact that the defendant's conduct had on these families' lives. And we have received a series of letters that has been submitted on behalf of the defendant. In summarizing these, they describe her as a good student and a loving and caring person, and that she could never do something like this. And they continually, despite the verdict, refer to this as an accident and an unfortunate accident and tell you that she is also a victim. And there are just a few things that I think is important for the court to consider in determining a sentence today. Part of the evidence in this case and introduced in trial was evidence from the defendant's cell phone. There were search warrants executed on her various social media accounts, her school records, her medical records, things of this nature. And I think that who she actually was is directly contradictory to what is painted by the letter submitted on behalf of her.
I'm not even cool. I'm just one of those girls that can do a lot of drugs and not die. Gotta figure like a penny, gotta figure like a dog. Don't care if you think I'm dumb, I don't care at all. Can you best see if I wanna be a dog? I'm the girl you die for.
Shortly after the crash, Strongsville police were notified that they had received concerning emails from the community that the defendant and her mother were seeking employment with the Los Angeles modeling agency. Mackenzie Shirilla said to Vitali, "Thank you for the comment. I would love to work with you guys. I've been emailing you guys a lot. Such a great opportunity. Thank you."
Is there a date?
There is not a date on this, Your Honor. Based on the investigation, it was delivered to the police while the defendant was still in the Metro Health Hospital. So it was during that time period. She was in the hospital for several weeks. Shortly after being released from the hospital, the police were provided additional videos of the defendant from her wheelchair as she attended a concert down in the Flats. And again, Your Honor, I'm introducing these to the court to show the shocking lack of remorse. This was something that was being exhibited while the investigation was still going on, before she was charged and arrested in November of last year. And these were the sort of things that were coming to the police, and the shocking lack of remorse, coupled with the fact that the defendant was reported driving an automobile shortly after this event, that she was seen in Strongsville again driving a car, in spite of the fact that, as her mother testified, she got dizzy sometimes from a condition that she had to take salt pills for, in spite of the fact that it was in fact her mother who provided her with the car that she used to take Dominic and Davion's life. Halloween of last year, again, still before being charged, Mackenzie Shirilla celebrated Halloween with her friends at Ohio.
Start off like this. Hey, help me sing it, homeboy. Say, told 1 5 for 2 zigzags. Baby, that's how we need. We can go too far, at the dog, smoke that too weed.
These are on Halloween of last year, so these would be post-crash, just before she was charged in November. We think the defendant has shown a shocking lack of remorse, Your Honor. We think that she has continually put forward that this was an accident, in spite of the fact that the evidence is in direct contradiction. Your Honor, you were on Progress Drive. You saw the evidence that was displayed in court. And Your Honor, we think that you are the person who is in the best position to decide an appropriate sentence. We have full confidence in the sentence that you'll give, Your Honor. Thank you.
Next, it was Natalie Shirilla's turn, Mackenzie's mother. She stood and addressed the judge, spending the first 5 minutes of her statement trying to justify hers and Mackenzie's actions in the weeks following the crash.
I just want to say, am I allowed to address them at all? Sure. I just want to say to the families that I'm broken, sad, and lost, and my heart hurts for everyone, okay? Davion was her new friend, and Dom was the love of her life, and he was part of our family. Okay, I'm just so sorry that this happened and we're heartbroken. Okay, and then, Your Honor, this was a terrible, tragic nightmare accident to have happened that she has no memory of, and she will never emotionally or physically recover from it. She almost died too, and we're asking that you please not run the sentences consecutive. He was family and we all loved each other. That morning of the accident, she called, I got a phone call that there was a car accident, okay? So we went to the hospital, and I didn't even know who was in the car. And I'm gonna cry because I missed Dom so much. We loved him so much. So I called Dom, like, over and over again, praying that he was gonna answer the phone, and he didn't answer the phone. So then I tried to call his mom, and she didn't answer the phone either. And I still didn't know who was in the car. I didn't even know if she was alive. I didn't know what was happening. So then we were in the waiting room. And then his mom she did call me, so I answered the phone, and I was like, oh my God, like, I don't even know who was in the car, like, what's happening, was that Dom? And she said, what do you mean, my son is dead? And I was like, I'm so sorry. And then she said something like, and now I have to wait until your kid's out of the hospital, and then I didn't hear the rest. I was like, we loved him so much, and I hung up the phone. I did not talk about social media. I didn't even know what was going on yet, okay? So then, that was it. So in the hospital, that Vitality post, I commented on that because somebody had called her a murderer, okay? And she's not a murderer, so she didn't even have her phone at that point because the police had still had it, okay? So I jumped on, and I was like, you know, she's not a murderer. She's more sad than most of these people commenting. She's been trying to get in touch with you. I mean, at that point, it was just an accident. So I commented on her behalf, not because of the modeling opportunity. Who cares about that? I don't want them to refer to her as a murderer, okay? And I don't even know how that comment had got on the phone because the police still had her device and she could not access her phone or social media. That's why I did it. I had called them asking if they could shut down social media because people were calling her a murderer and making death threats and organizing groups to, you know, take her out when she got out of the hospital and stuff. So I didn't even want her phone. I don't care about her phone. I don't care about social media. I just wanted them to stop calling her a murderer so that when she did come to, and she did come out of surgery, multiple surgeries, that she wouldn't see all these people calling her a murderer because she would never, ever, ever murder the love of her life. Okay? For Halloween, for 3 months after the accident, she would only wear his clothes. She would only eat the snacks he ate. She would only listen to the music he wrote, okay? She was laying in bed for 3 months crying. There was a shrine of him next to her with photos and things that he liked and this flower that lights up that he got her because he wanted it to be fresh and alive forever. It's like a little Beauty and the Beast flower. Okay, she's got this shrine of him next to her. So she was crying for 3 months. So her friends asked if she wanted to go out trick-or-treating or Halloween, and it was at OU. And she didn't even want to go. She said, I don't know, should I go? She couldn't even walk yet, barely. So I told her, I said, baby, please go. It's Halloween. You've been laying for 3 months crying, only listening to his music. Please go have just a moment of fun. A moment of fun. So we told her to go. My husband drove her. I brought her back home. She just needed a second of fun from losing her whole world. Her whole world. So that was us. We told her to go. And that concert she went to with Dom's cousin, Abby, they picked her up. They brought her there. That was Dom, Mackenzie and Dom and Abby all decided to go to this concert together while they were in the hospital. That was for Dom. Everything she did after the accident was either in honor of him, to be close to him, or just to be by him any way that she can. She's like devastated and tragic. He was the air that she breathes. Okay, and they went with his cousin. We spent all kinds of time with him after the accident.
Judge Russo was quick to call her out, questioning her choice of words.
I'm hearing an awful lot about your daughter. I'm not hearing very much about the two dead people.
Dominic, okay, I'm asking you for a leniency because this was a tragic accident that she does not remember. And Davion, he's a new friend. And I'm so sorry.
What does that mean? His life is worthless?
No. God, no, not at all. They all loved each other. They all spent every day together. You know what I mean? I don't know.
And isn't that part of the problem, Mrs. Shirilla?
Sorry?
Isn't that part of the problem that they all trusted each other? Isn't that part of?
It's not a problem at all. It was wonderful.
The problem how they all ended up in the car together and two of them ended up dead.
I understand. I understand what it looks like. I'm saying that it was a tragic accident. She would never.
Well, we're going to have to disagree on.
I understand.
Right. And I respect your position, but you disagree with me.
I understand. But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to address those. We told her to go to those things, and then she did go with Dom's family. So look at that. Don't look at it with the. Look on that with different eyes if you can, please.
Those things are not relevant.
Not at all. Not at all. No, not at all. But she's a good, if you would have a moment, all you would need is 5 minutes of a conversation to have with her to learn who she is. Just that you would just need 5 minutes to learn who she is and what she's capable of not doing and doing. And you would see for yourself. That's all. I'm so sorry, guys.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I love you.
Then 19-year-old Mackenzie herself stood and read from a prepared statement.
Is there anyone else?
I would like Mackenzie to address the court.
Mackenzie, you don't have to speak if you don't want to. It's up to you. Okay? You can sit if it's more comfortable, whatever's better for you.
The families of Dom and Davion, I'm so deeply sorry.
I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken. I love Dom and Davion. We were all friends and Dom was my soulmate. I wish I could take all your pain away, and I'm so sorry. And to my family, thank you for the support and all the love you guys give. Thank you for inviting me. I love you all so much. Alright, I'm done. Thank you.
Davion Flanagan, watching from across the courtroom, said afterwards that it was the worst apology she had ever heard. Finally, before Judge Russo delivered the sentence, Mackenzie's defense attorney James McDonnell made one final plea to the court. He pushed back against the prosecution's characterization of his client as remorseless, arguing that the crash had not been intentional. He spoke about the teenage brain, about how young people make decisions differently, about how he himself had done things in his youth he was not proud of, and he told the judge that from the moment he had first met Mackenzie, she had expressed sorrow and remorse. He asked Judge Russo for the minimum, 15 years, and pleaded with her to run the sentences concurrently rather than consecutively.
First of all, I'd like to extend my condolences to the Russo and Flanagan family. I can't imagine how difficult this is. It's terrible. People's acts have consequences, and the consequences here are up to you. You have a range of possibilities as it relates to a girl who was 17 at the time, who is now 19 years old and has no criminal record. And as you so correctly pointed out in the opening, the decision when she gets out is up to the parole board. And we know how the parole board operates, and we know that everybody gets flopped at least once. So a 15-year sentence becomes a 20-year sentence at minimum, and it'll be up to this young lady here as to how she's going to conduct herself for the next 20 years or whatever the sentence would be. That would be number one. Second of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for allowing and taking the time to read those letters. And I would like to concentrate on the letters from the people from juvenile court. First of all, Miss Smith and Miss Kent. They have been the people who have monitored her progress since she was entered the juvenile detention facility, where she was for about 9 months. I would like to commend them for writing these letters, because ultimately, or initially, I tried to have them send a letter and the people at juvenile court wouldn't let them. And so they sent these letters anyways. And what do we see from their letters? We actually see where both of them say that she expressed remorse during the time. What the prosecutor played there was after the accident and way before she was ever incarcerated. They also both say that they have observed her grow as a person, that she's taken every single class possible, both culinary and college, that she's actually been a model inmate, the letters say, and that she has exhibited what they call the highest level of behavior. They grade people 1, 2, 3, 4. The better your behavior, the higher the number. She has always received the highest number. She's also been receptive to counseling, and as Ms. Kent said, she has been making amends. I'd ask you to pay special attention to the letter from Kelly Leitner that I think she cites certain things. Ms. Leitner is asking you to consider that the brain is not fully developed until 25 years or older. Her choices, Mackenzie's, and actions are indicative of teenage invincibility. While, based on your decision, you don't find that, I find that there are. I remember when I was young, the dumbest things I ever did, and I'd hate to be judged for those things. So really now I'm going to give you my observations, because I understand what you talked with Mackenzie's mother about acceptance of responsibility, etc. All I can tell you is that from the moment I met this young lady here, she expressed sorrow. And I would say during the course of this trial, in the initial emails and statements, she said, "I'm sorry for what you did." The prosecutor has said that she hasn't accepted responsibility. Well, as you remember, during the course of this trial, our defense was that it was a reckless homicide. That's taking responsibility for what she believes happened. So I would respectfully disagree with that. I've seen her express true remorse in the times that I met her in jail, and I don't think it's self-serving. And I'm going to say as an officer of the court that I feel very confident saying that she has expressed true remorse. So ultimately, another thing that you have to ask for is the likelihood of recidivism, etc. Based upon all of those things, I'd respectfully request that you run the sentences concurrently. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak?
I'll be that for Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
The final decision was now left with the judge. But before delivering the sentence, Judge Russo powerfully addressed several things about the crash itself, making it clear she believed it was intentional and all within Mackenzie's control.
Today is the sentencing of the defendant for the purposeful and intentional murders of Davion Flanagan and Dominic Russo. And in a way, it's the second time their families are gathered again to grieve. It's also a day when Mackenzie's family will grieve for the future of their daughter. All three of these families and the friends of these families are suffering, and all of their lives have been irrevocably changed because of the actions of the defendant. The unintended and collateral consequences of a selfish, intentional, and cruel decision by Mackenzie will ripple forever in time. It's literally changed history because it's ended two lives. Two young men are dead. Their deaths were horrible, terrifying, and tragic. I will say again, if any reasonable person reviews Exhibit 802, there can be no doubt in your mind what happened this night. There can be no doubt of the absolute terror of the two people in that car. The defendant controlled all the events. She chose the day. Specifically, she chose a day just before her 18th birthday. She chose to drive the car, the time to drive the car. She chose an obscure, previously scouted route through an industrial parkway. She chose the target to hit and the victims. She chose the means and the method to follow through. And she planned and purposefully executed the events of July 31st, 2022. The review of the evidence supports the factual findings, the forensic testimony, the testimony of the first responders, the testimony of the emergency room doctors who treated the defendant, the testimony of the coroner's medical examiner, the testimony of those who knew the victims and the defendant, and the testimony of the BMV official who provided evidence that not only did the defendant deny any medical condition when applying for her license, which her mother co-signed and attested to, but also that just after the accident, Mackenzie renewed her driver's license and again denied any medical condition. In fact, the defendant was so concerned about driving that, as the state mentioned, during the investigation, she asked if they could just suspend her license for 10 years. It is hard to fathom how a person could be concerned about their driving privileges, having just been responsible for the deaths of two people. There was no medical condition that caused this as an accident. There was no mechanical failure of the car. The record is clear on the facts and the evidence. Her mother's uncorroborated statements without any medical testimony or records is not persuasive. It is also important to remember that even if Mackenzie intended to also die in this crash, that is irrelevant. A failed suicide attempt is not a defense to murder. And even in a murder-suicide attempt, when the perpetrator executing the plan survives, the other death or deaths are still murder. There's only one person who's responsible for the pain of everyone in this room, and that person is you, Mackenzie. Nobody else is responsible. This isn't the fault of Dominic's family, or Davion's family, or your family. And I know that each of you have asked your questions to yourselves, what if? What if I had done this or that? The truth of it is, none of us can control the intentions of another. And when there is a purposeful intent to harm or kill someone, it is the perpetrator alone who bears the responsibility for the choice and the consequences and the harm that follows.
She then went on to the sentence itself, expressing her difficulty in deciding whether to give Mackenzie a concurrent or consecutive sentence.
The difficulty for sentencing today, honestly, is whether or not I believe you should get consecutive sentences. I'm troubled that should I give you a concurrent sentence, that people will believe that somehow I'm being disrespectful to one of the victims. And on the other hand, I have to weigh the punishment. There's a very good likelihood, Mackenzie, that you will spend the rest of your life in prison. That won't be up to me. That will be up to the parole board, and that will be up to you to a great extent.
She then finally handed down her sentence to a tearful Mackenzie.
I understand that the pain in this room wants me to impose the harshest sentence, but I don't believe that would be the appropriate sentence, because I do believe that Mackenzie will not be out in 15 years. So she's sentenced on count 2, the murder of Davion Flanagan, 15 years to life. She's sentenced on count 1, the murder of Dominic Russo, 15 years to life, to be served concurrent to each other, with credit for time served. I'll waive fines, fees, and costs, and your appellate counsel will be assigned. Are there any questions from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Alongside her sentence, she also permanently suspended Mackenzie's driver's license. Mackenzie Shirilla was taken from the courtroom and transferred to the Ohio Reformatory for Women in Marysville, Ohio, where she remains today. Under the terms of her sentence, she will not be eligible to apply for parole until October 2037, when she will be 33 years old. Whether she is released at that point will depend entirely on what the parole board finds when it looks at her. Outside the courthouse, Prosecutor Michael O'Malley said,
You know, these are tough decisions that the judge has to make. And, you know, I talked to one of the families of the victims, and they said they came here today not knowing in their hearts what the appropriate sentence would be. So, you know, it is their hope, and it is certainly our hope, that Mackenzie serves her time in prison, and she reflects and learns and comes out of prison a much better person and contributes to the community and does everything she can to make a positive impact in our community. So it's tough to say what justice is, but I do hope that while she is there, I hope she does learn and reflects and comes out and really works to make a positive impact. And that's all we hope for every case, whether it's this case or any other case, that people go there, they're rehabilitated, they have time to reflect, and they come out a better person. And I'm hopeful she will do that, but time will tell.
For the Shirilla family, the fight did not end in that courtroom. It was, in their view, only just beginning. Over the course of the next 3 years, her legal team would mount 3 separate attempts to overturn or revisit the conviction. All 3 would fail. On September 25th, 2023, Mackenzie's new legal team filed her first appeal with the Ohio 8th District Court of Appeals. They argued that the juvenile court should not have transferred her case to adult court. They argued that the convictions were not supported by sufficient evidence and were against the manifest weight of the evidence. They argued that the medical examiner had exceeded his statutory authority in amending the manner of death from accident to homicide without a court order, and they raised procedural errors they said had affected the fairness of the proceedings. On September 26, 2024, more than a year after it was filed, the Ohio 8th District Court of Appeals issued its ruling. The panel was unanimous. Every ground of appeal was rejected. The convictions were affirmed in full. Presiding Judge Eileen Gallagher, writing for the court, found that the convictions were supported by sufficient evidence and were not against the manifest weight of the evidence. The medical examiner's amendment was upheld. The procedural challenges failed.
Barely 1 year after an emotional, high-profile trial, 3 News investigators learned the appeal for Mackenzie Shirilla has been denied.
The 8th District Court of Appeals was brief in upholding Mackenzie Shirilla's conviction, with the review taking less than a single page on its most recent decision list.
In the months that followed, her defense team pursued 2 separate legal routes simultaneously, and both would be closed within weeks of each other in the spring of 2025. The first was a petition to the Ohio Supreme Court to accept jurisdiction and review the 8th District's ruling. On April 29, 2025, the Ohio Supreme Court declined. In a statement, the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office said simply, "We are pleased with the Ohio Supreme Court's decision to decline jurisdiction to hear Mackenzie Shirilla's appeal." The second was a post-conviction relief petition filed directly in the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas. This one was not about the evidence at trial or the transfer to adult court. It was about what had never made it into the courtroom at all.
A new legal team now arguing medical evidence the first trial missed, with a UH neurologist concluding that Shirilla suffered a medical episode at the time of the crash and a loss of consciousness, something prosecutors called speculative. Shirilla's latest court filing also includes text messages they claim flipped the narrative over who was threatening whom in the weeks before the crash, with texts from Russo purportedly saying, "I'm sorry."
The centerpiece of the petition was a claim of ineffective assistance of counsel, that Mackenzie's original trial attorney, James McDonnell, had failed to provide a competent defense. Specifically, the petition alleged 3 critical failures: that McDonnell had not retained or presented a medical expert on POTS and its potential to cause loss of consciousness, that he had not introduced Mackenzie's medical records documenting the diagnosis, and that he had failed to present text messages from July 17, 2022, the night of the highway incident, that the family said showed Dominic was the aggressor, not Mackenzie. At 12:45 p.m. that day, Mackenzie had texted Dominic's mother Christine asking, "Can you come get Dom? He just grabbed my steering wheel on the highway trying to spin out my car and hurt me. I'm scared to drive because it's raining, so I just need him to get picked up. If he doesn't get out of my car, I'm calling my dad, so please tell him to get out." Christine then said, "Hench is on his way, calm down for now, please." To which Mackenzie replies, "To be honest, I can't calm down when he just tried to end my life. Then he lied to you about it." Christine then says, "I'm just trying to diffuse. For now, I'm not mad at anyone." What followed was a heated back and forth between Mackenzie and Christine. Mackenzie insisted she was not lying, that Dominic had told her to shut up and duct tape her mouth, that he was threatening to blackmail her to her own mother, and that he had blocked her from retrieving her belongings from the house. She told Christine directly, "You don't know how he treats me, behind closed doors." Christine pushed back, telling her to stop fighting and stop lying, and pointedly asking whether Mackenzie had not herself blackmailed Dominic with the police 100 times. The conversation ended with Mackenzie telling Christine that as long as she kept defending Dominic's actions, he would never learn that what he was doing was wrong. Then, just a few hours later, at 4:27 p.m., Dominic texted Mackenzie saying simply, "I'm sorry." Mackenzie responded, "That is not enough to fix this time." The Shirilla family argued these messages told a fundamentally different story to the one the prosecution had presented in court, and that James McDonnell's failure to introduce them had denied Mackenzie a fair defense. In support of the petition, her defense team filed an affidavit from University Hospital's neurologist, Dr. Kamal Chamali. Dr. Chamali had reviewed Mackenzie's post-crash medical data, her elevated lactate levels, her critically low blood oxygen of 82%, and her complete amnesia following the incident, and concluded that the evidence was consistent with a loss of consciousness caused by a seizure or similar autonomic event at the time of the crash. He noted that the vehicle's trajectory, traveling in a straight line directly into a building with no braking, was, in his professional opinion, characteristic of seizure-related crash patterns rather than intentional driving. The petition also included a new automotive expert. Natalie Shirilla said, "We gave her attorney the text messages, we gave her attorney the medical records, we gave her attorney the car expert. He didn't use any of it. Nothing we gave to her attorney ever made it into court. I just remember thinking, how is this even real?" Under Ohio law, post-conviction relief petitions must be filed within 365 days of the date the trial transcript is filed with the Court of Appeals. Mackenzie's trial transcript was filed on October 24, 2023. That meant the deadline was October 23, 2024, 365 days later. But the petition was filed on October 24, 2024, One day late, the defense argued that October 24th was the one-year anniversary date and should govern. They also argued separately that because 2024 was a leap year, they should be afforded an extra day. But Judge Nancy Margaret Russo, the same judge who had convicted Mackenzie, ruled the petition time-barred. She dismissed it for lack of jurisdiction, finding the court had no power to consider the merits. In March 2026, the Ohio 8th District Court of Appeals affirmed that dismissal. The court held that Ohio law is clear. Post-conviction petitions must be filed within 365 days, not on the date's one-year anniversary. The leap year argument was also rejected.
Tonight, for the first time since her 2023 murder conviction, the parents of 20-year-old Mackenzie Shirilla are speaking out. In a 3 News Investigates exclusive, her parents insist it was an accident and not murder. They're now sharing details of Mackenzie's life in prison and fighting to clear her name, even as prosecutors stand by the evidence that put her behind bars.
I struggled with this because how can I feel bad that these 2 boys died and feel grief with these families and then be absolutely overjoyed that my kid is alive.
In the weeks following the dismissal, Steve and Natalie Shirilla spoke publicly about their daughter's case, insisting that they had got it wrong.
Show me one piece of evidence, one, that says she did this on purpose. Show it to me. Here it is. That's it. Then she's right where she belongs and she's guilty of it. But there isn't any. There's no evidence what was going on in that car other than the information they gleaned from the black box information.
And these poor families think she did it intentionally and she didn't. And and they don't know. There's information they didn't see. There's information they didn't have. There's information we didn't see or have.
Should she be in prison for murder?
No, absolutely not.
Should she be in prison for aggravated vehicular homicide?
I don't even know about that aggravated part.
I don't know about the aggravated part because I don't think you can still say why was going on in the car. Should she have been charged with reckless vehicular homicide, 2 counts?
I don't even
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not if it was medical.
They went on to explain how Mackenzie spends her time at the Ohio Reformatory for Women, and despite everything, they said they hoped that one day she would walk free.
She does a lot of painting. She paints.
What kind of hopes, what kind of expectations do you have for Mackenzie's future?
That the truth will set her free. That's what I need to have happen. The truth, that there was no intent, that part, the truth will set her free.
As of May 2026, every legal avenue pursued by Mackenzie Shirilla's defense team has been closed. The first appeal was denied on the merits. The Ohio Supreme Court declined to hear it. The post-conviction petition was dismissed as time-barred, and that dismissal was upheld on appeal. No federal habeas petition has been filed. Mackenzie Shirilla remains incarcerated at the Ohio Reformatory for Women in Marysville, Ohio. Her earliest parole eligibility date, per Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction Records, is October 2037, when she will be 33 years old.
Worldwide attention tonight turning back to Northeast Ohio. A new Netflix documentary is putting the Mackenzie Shirilla case back under a national microscope. So what does this new wave of attention mean for the case and everyone still tied to it?
On May 15th, 2026, Netflix released The Crash, a 93-minute true crime documentary on the case. Within days of its release, The Crash became the #1 documentary on Netflix worldwide. Director Gareth Johnson brought an unusual personal context to the project. As a teenager, he had himself been involved in a fatal car crash that killed one person and left him severely injured. He described wanting to approach the story differently because of it, to understand the event from the perspective of the families around it, rather than simply reconstruct the crime. He said, "We felt after talking to everybody that there's actually something more layered and more nuanced, but more gripping than has been portrayed before." Alongside the body camera footage, surveillance video, social media clips, courtroom material, the documentary included original interviews with Mackenzie's parents, Natalie and Steve Shirilla, Dominic's father Frank Russo, and sister Christine Russo, and Davion's father Scott Flanagan and sister Davion Flanagan. The centerpiece of the film is Mackenzie Shirilla's first ever on-camera interview, the first time she had spoken publicly since her tearful sentencing statement in August 2023. She had never spoken to the police, she had never testified at trial, and for nearly 3 years she had said nothing. The crew had 1 hour to film the interview at the Ohio Reformatory for Women. In the interview, Mackenzie addressed the crash, the relationship, and her life behind bars. On Dominic, she said, "We were just 2 kids messing with each other, and then as the years went on, and we stayed together and grew closer, we would have probably been married by now. He was just so protective and loving over me. We were partners. We just took care of each other. We argued, we got back together. We broke up, we got back together." Regarding the crash, she said, "I remember turning on the street, and then I'm waking up in the hospital the next day, and then my whole life is shattered. The whole morning is just like nothing. I can't lie just because people want to hear a story. I have no recollection of that morning." On life in prison, she said, "It's really hard every day in here. I try to wake up and be the best person I can be every day, stay out of trouble. There's not a moment that doesn't pass where I don't think about them or I don't feel the pain in my chest." When asked about her social media in the months after the crash, she said, "I feel like anybody's social media isn't really them. It's how they want the world to see them, and at the time, that's how my 17-year-old brain was wanting to be seen." She added, "I'm not saying I'm innocent. I was a driver of a tragedy, but I'm not a murderer." After speaking about how hard each day in prison is, saying there was not a moment that passed where she didn't think about Dominic and Davion, describing it as still like a void of losing them, Mackenzie bowed her head, seemingly deep in thought. She was then asked if there was anything else she wished to say. She glanced to her right, apparently seeking approval from her lawyer sitting just out of shot, her demeanor noticeably changing. Then she turned back to the camera and said, "I'm big on the no intent. There was no intent whatsoever. I have excessive amounts of remorse for Dominic, Davion, both of their families. This was not intentional, and I will do everything I can to prove that to the world and the families, and that's it." Director Johnson said he deliberately kept that moment in the final cut because he thought it was important that the audience understood the circumstances that interview was held under. Director Johnson said the film was never intended to answer the central question definitively, but to make people think. He said, "There are those 5 seconds when no one knows what went on in that car. There are people who completely believe in her innocence, and people who completely believe that she's guilty. It was much more interesting to us to work out how those people arrived at those conclusions, and ultimately leave it up to the viewer to make up their own minds." Shortly after the documentary aired, a statement was posted to Mackenzie's Instagram account, accompanied by a selfie taken from prison. Her support team described it as her own words, passed on via her family. It read, "Thank you to those who see through the lies, and to those who take time out of their day to form their own opinion as to the truth of what actually happened. I'm not perfect, I never will be, but I am not guilty of a murder. Like any young couple, Dom and I had our disagreements and arguments. However, I always loved Dom and would never do anything to hurt him, Davion, or anyone else I care about. I will respectfully and peacefully continue to fight for my innocence through the proper legal channels. To all of those who speak out on my behalf to raise awareness of this wrongful conviction, words cannot describe my sincere appreciation for your support and for being my voice. Continue to scream, "Free Mackenzie Shirilla," at the top of your lungs. If it can happen to her, it can happen to us. Follow Free Mackenzie Shirilla on Facebook and TikTok for the truth. Commenting has been temporarily turned off. There is 5 seconds of car data, and that is the only evidence they had. It tells you what the car was doing, but it doesn't tell you why or how. Lack of evidence is not evidence of intent, and there is too much reasonable doubt. Injustice for one is injustice for all.
Back home, the Shirilla family back in the spotlight after a new Netflix documentary revisits the deadly Strongsville crash. Now Mackenzie Shirilla's father is on administrative leave. from his job as a teacher.
The documentary's release set off a chain of consequences almost immediately. Within 48 hours, Steve Shirilla, Mackenzie's father, who teaches art and digital media at Mary Queen of Peace School, a Catholic primary school in Cleveland, was placed on administrative leave. They released a statement saying, "Dear Mary Queen of Peace School, parents, families, and guardians, we are investigating allegations made on social media that one of our teachers has demonstrated poor judgment. Upon learning of the allegation, the school acted immediately and placed the teacher on administrative leave. The investigation is ongoing. We want every parent and family to know that the safety, well-being, and trust of our students remain among our highest priorities. We take all student concerns seriously and are committed to responding promptly and responsibly whenever concerns are brought forward. While we are limited in what we can share during an active personnel investigation, please know that we are reviewing the matter and will provide additional communication as appropriate. We appreciate your continued support of the Mary Queen of Peace School community." This response was due to what Steve had said in the documentary regarding marijuana. He had said, "I don't have a problem with her smoking dope. If you're going to smoke a drug, that's the one I believe you should take."
I went to the Shirilla family home and talked with Mackenzie Shirilla's father, Steve. Off camera, he confirmed with me that he has been placed on administrative leave from Mary Queen of Peace School regarding comments that he made in a new Netflix documentary called The Crash.
Turn the camera off, we'll talk.
That was my conversation with Steve Shirilla when I walked up to his door. He told me he's upset with the documentary and the way it was edited, saying more of what he said was left out. The school said student safety and trust remain a top priority, but noted it is limited in what it can share during an active personnel investigation.
Steve told local news he was upset with the editing of the documentary and that his words had been twisted. He said hours of footage had been condensed into just a few sound bites and taken out of context. He also said he had no idea his daughter had been using marijuana while driving, and that if he had known, he would have had a problem with it. In fact, her parents received significant backlash in general, with many viewers saying they had enabled their daughter's behavior and that she had been spoiled. The reaction online was ferocious. Viewers directed their anger not just at Mackenzie, but at her parents, for their comments in the documentary, for their continued defense of their daughter, and for what many saw as a fundamental failure to take responsibility. One comment captured the sentiment. Her parents are villains also for not disciplining this petulant child. Her temper tantrums were allowed to flourish unchecked, and the result is an out-of-control adult who cannot manage her feelings. Those parents are still making excuses for their bad parenting and her murderous behavior. Rosie Graham, Mackenzie's close friend who had also appeared in the documentary, posted a lengthy statement on TikTok pushing back against how she had been portrayed. She denied appearing for personal gain, saying it was not her intention to gain followers, views, or personal attention connected to such a serious situation. She said her interview with the production team had lasted over 8 hours and that she had had no control over which portions made the final cut. She wrote, "At no point was my intention to pick sides, defend anyone, or make light of the seriousness of the case. I was simply answering the questions I was asked based on my own experiences, knowledge, and what I personally witnessed. These are 2 examples of what I feel is the documentary pushing a narrative without providing my full explanations." She also shared a screenshot of a message her boyfriend, Bubba Turner, had sent to a producer asking that their social media accounts not be included in the film, a request she said had been agreed to, but not fully honored. It read, "We did have one question though, nothing bad. We are just curious of what the screenshot of Rosie's YouTube channel is for. We know that it is inevitable for people to find her page. Heck, some might already know her, but we just try to keep that as separate as possible. But again, we know it's inevitable. We are just trying to see if it would be possible to leave it out or whatever, but again, we aren't worried or upset, just curious." Not only did the documentary make those around her look bad, but the spotlight fell heavily on Mackenzie herself.
In just the past week, Google searches for Mackenzie Shirilla have skyrocketed, pushing a case many thought was over right back into the court of public opinion, even gaining attention from notable celebrities like Cardi B.
Many viewers felt it did not make her look good, and questioned what the point of it had been at all. Some went further, suggesting that the calls, the behaviour, and the overall picture painted of her could actively work against her at future parole hearings and appeals.
Google Trends show Mackenzie Shirilla's name among the top 3 most searched topics nationwide over the past week, and legal experts say that kind of attention isn't uncommon when a case is revisited in a doc.
So this is one thing that is a reliable way to get eyeballs on your platform.
But that attention can cut both ways, especially after a case is already closed.
Post-trial, it often has the other effect, where they have taken a deep dive into a criminal case and really explored and presented significant questions about the validity of the conviction.
And in some cases, Case Western Reserve Professor Benza says it can become part of a longer legal strategy.
The defendants will be willing to talk to try to keep their story out in front of the public, because we know if you get some positive publicity about issues in your case, it makes it easier to maybe get back into a court and have some review.
But not every motivation, he says, is legal or even about appeals. Sometimes it's fame. Yet he warns when true crimes are repackaged for audiences, perception can overshadow reality, causing real harm.
And that can have very negative consequences for those people who are touched by this. What actually happened, what is in the case, isn't the reality anymore, because the reality gets supplanted by the Netflix documentary or by the Law & Order episode.
Shortly after the documentary's release, a series of newly obtained jailhouse phone calls were released publicly. In one, Mackenzie tells her mother that she knows prison is supposed to be rehabilitative, but that she doesn't need to be rehabilitated. She expresses concern that she may not be able to have children if she is eventually released, saying that she would simply be too old by then.
I don't want to enjoy life there, but it's just sad. I don't know.
No, that's a rehabilitative. See, that's how jail is supposed to rehabilitate people.
But I don't need to be rehabilitated. I don't need that.
I know you don't.
I feel I want to live off the grid. And I'm just thinking about how I'm just gonna be old when I get out of jail, and I don't know, I'm not gonna be able to have kids or a family and
Stop that.
I'm just scared they're gonna be you have the death penalty or you're going to life for 40 years.
I know. Well, let us fight. Let us do what we're doing, okay? Just living right now.
In a separate, undated call, she giggles with a friend about the media attention the case had attracted, saying she really wanted Kim Kardashian to be her attorney.
This sounds my mom was well, maybe Kim Kardashian's seen. And I was I hope. Yeah, maybe Kim will, now that it's all over. I was that's the only thing that might be good about the whole media thing. Maybe Kim will see it. I don't know. You have to figure out, because I'm real nervous and I want Kim Kardashian to be my lawyer. Yeah. Don't smack your lips at me. I wish I could be your lawyer, bro. I wish I was Kim Kardashian passed the baby bar. She's a lawyer. Yeah, she gets innocent people out of jail. She does all the time. Kim works hard. We're going to have to get you out. Who? He is. Miss Kimberly. We're going to have her get you out. I will tell her I buy all her skims and I only wear... Yeah, literally.
Yo, my name's Kat, and if you don't know, I was in prison with Mackenzie Shirilla. Don't believe me? Hold on, I got you. Let's fact check.
In the days after the documentary came out, a former inmate named Kat Crowder, who had served time alongside Mackenzie at the Ohio Reformatory for Women, posted a TikTok video that was viewed more than 35 million times. What followed was a detailed and damning account of what she said she had witnessed during her time inside.
Let's talk about the documentary that just came out on Netflix, The Crash, about Mackenzie, because oh my god, do I have some shit to say. When I was in prison with her, it was at the beginning of her sentence. And the Mackenzie that came on to the Netflix was not the same Mackenzie that I witnessed in prison. I am so glad that they made sure to throw that clip in there that shows her lawyer was there with her, because that's the only reason Mackenzie even went on Netflix. Was one, because she thrived for fame even while I was in prison with her. She thought that she was going to be the princess of the prison. And she also went on there thinking that it was going to help her with another appeal that's going to get denied. We understand that, correct?
Kat said the Mackenzie who appeared in the Netflix documentary was not the Mackenzie she had known in prison, and that she said she had never once seen her cry.
Mackenzie Shirilla did not walk around that prison yard with an ounce of remorse. Mackenzie Shirilla did not walk around that prison yard thinking about those lost loved ones that she claimed to think about every single day. Mackenzie Shirilla walked around prison thinking, how is she going to get in with the cool kids, which in prison, Mackenzie Shirilla did not relate to them at all. But as you can see by this new Mackenzie Shirilla that just popped on the Netflix documentary, she's really trying hard. She's had to get harder. She doesn't even talk the same. The way that she talked in this documentary is not even how her voice sounds. She's got a rasp to her voice, and that might be because in there she's starting to do rugs, which I've heard through the grapevine and other inmates that she is, which is what it is. It's bound to happen. You're in there for life. When I was in there with Mackenzie, all she cared about was doing her makeup, walking the yard with her 1 or 2 friends that were also very similar to her, young girls, social media influencer wannabes, thinking that it was a high school like popularity contest. Now in the documentary you can tell, because it's been a couple years by now, you can see she's been broken down.
She directly challenged Mackenzie's side of the story, saying what Mackenzie was telling people in prison was very different to what had been presented in the documentary and in court.
Mackenzie's story when she was in, when I was in prison with her, was that she was high on shrooms when this accident occurred.
She then went on to describe how Mackenzie liked to jump from toxic relationship to toxic relationship with other inmates, and that her mother gave her anything she wanted behind bars.
And if you think Mackenzie going to prison was the end of her being in toxic relationships, let me tell you something. She was in 4 in the short span that I was in there with her inside the prison walls. She thrives for that. She lives for that. And her mom, I'm sorry, Mackenzie was full-fledged, old enough to know what she did, but her bozo-ass parents fed into this 100%. Been in prison, Mackenzie's batshit crazy mother was funding her prison lifestyle and making it as comfortable as possible. Mackenzie had everything you can imagine inside prison and more. All the makeup, all the limited item stuff that you have to buy, cash app this, cash app that. Mackenzie had it. Her mom enables her. Her family enables her like no other. They see no wrong. They're delusional, and Mackenzie has to get it from them.
In a second video, Kat answered more questions about Mackenzie. She directly challenged the Potts defense, saying that she had never once seen Mackenzie go for a blood pressure check or take any medication for the condition.
Never one time did I ever see Mackenzie Shirilla go for a blood pressure check, take any type of medication, or go to sick call, ever experience dizziness. In fact, Mackenzie Shirilla would go out in 100-degree heat waves with baby oil on her and sit on the prison yard and tan. So let's just get that understood. The girl does not have any medical issues.
She also further clarified how Mackenzie had access to makeup and other things in prison, and that it was not only through her parents.
Mackenzie has makeup and jewelry in prison because her mom is ordering it for her, and third-party vendors like Union Supply or Access, like Secure Pack, and getting them packages sent into the prison for her. So that's where she gets makeup, because we could get our loved ones to order makeup. Also, Mackenzie is on the prison princess, paper dolls, the prison sugar daddy websites that Gypsy Rose found Ryan and Ken on. Mackenzie is on those websites also, so there's sugar daddy supplying her needs. And to answer another question, yes, Mackenzie has had multiple girlfriends in prison. She was walking around on her neck, hickeys on her neck, in prison. She's gone to the hole for being intimate with girlfriends in prison. So if she was grieving or remorseful, she would not have gone to prison and jumped into prison relationships within the next 6 months. In fact, 2 of her former prison girlfriends follow me on this TikTok. One of them I've interviewed on my page. So
Kat's content is well worth checking out. She gives real, unfiltered context about life behind bars and what Mackenzie is actually like away from the cameras. She has made a series of eye-opening videos about her time in prison alongside Mackenzie that, in her view, show a very different side to the composed, carefully worded young woman who appeared in the Netflix documentary. From prison hustles Mackenzie would take part in to make extra money, to photographs of what she actually looks like day to day behind bars, it paints a picture that is a world away from the one presented in the crash.
So we know this is the Mackenzie that popped up on the documentary. Very cold, very hard, very smug. Okay, the Mackenzie that I was in there with looked a little bit more like this. Very bright-faced, very girly, very whatever you want to call it. Okay, but there's more. Showing her outfit that she got custom made in prison, okay? It's not giving hard gangster at all. This was her one and only friend that she had when I was there. They walked the yard every single day, okay? Giving very much like done up. Does that look remorseful to you? But we know that already. This is her friend. They had a falling out over a girlfriend. And I'm sure we've all seen this picture. This is the photo that she posted on her Instagram. It's giving wannabe prison Kylie Jenner. But again, doesn't look like the documentary Mackenzie at all.
In the days following the documentary's release, another voice emerged, one that had not been heard before. 27-year-old Cheyenne Topping, a former inmate at the Ohio Reformatory for Women, told both People magazine and the US Sun that she and Mackenzie had briefly dated behind bars in 2023, shortly after Mackenzie arrived at the prison following her conviction. She had noticed Mackenzie walking outside one day and found her attractive, passing a message through a friend to let her know.
I was probably like a week or two shy of my out date when me and Mackenzie really started talking. Cause I have seen her like walk around the track all the time with her friend Jasmine, like they were together every day, all day, lived in the same cottage, all that. But like I didn't walk up to her cause like the way like she upheld herself and stuff is kind of like a mean girl aura, like full Regina George radiating off her. Honestly, like the plastics right there, walking the track. Like prison style, seriously. One day, I had saw my friend Juice walking with them. So, come to find out, Juice was dating Jasmine, which was Mackenzie's best friend. So I was like, so, I'm trying to pass this little 2-3 weeks. What's up with her friend? Like, we can all kick it and chill, because me and Juice always kicked it, like. So Juice was like, all right, I'll talk to her. Like, I got you. Her name's Mackenzie. I'll talk to her for you. And I'm like, all right, bet, cool. So I'm just chilling in my bed, my bunk, whatever, on top bunk. I hear my friend Juice yelling like, Cheyenne, Cheyenne. So I go up there, I'm like, what's up? And she's like, hey, bro, Mackenzie Spen thought you were cute since you first popped out. She already has a little nickname for you. She calls you Fro. Well, obviously Fro because of the hair. But at the time, I didn't have no like lineup or nothing. So it was just a crazy, crazy Fro. Like crazy. And I'm like, all right, bet. And she was like, well, she said she wanted you to meet her on the next yard. So I hop in the shower, whatever. I go outside to hit the yard. I see her and Jasmine immediately walking. And I walked to her like, hey, what's up? And she's like, what's up? Like, and I kid you not, the first thing she says to me is, you're top 3 on my hottest people on the farm list.
The two quickly became close. Early in the relationship, another inmate had been spreading a false and malicious rumor about Cheyenne's charges, and she sat down with Mackenzie to set the record straight.
She comes outside, she looks like, the way she's walking up, her face looks like distorted, like stuff like that, like she got something on her head. So I'm like, what's up? She was like, I've been hearing some weird stuff about you. I'm like, what? She's like, some bad stuff. And she was like, I heard you got a kid case. And I'm like, huh, no, that's not true. That's not true. Like, that is not true. So we cleared that up, whatever. She's like, thank God. Because I was kind of rationalizing child charges because you're so cute. Like, she was trying to say, like, I was so cute. She was trying to, like, mentalize it in her head, like, why I would do that. And I kind of got quiet at that point. And I'm like, I don't think there would be, like, any right for someone to do that. And she was like, oh, no, I was saying, like, maybe you were 16, she was 18. I'm like, no. Like, none of that. My charges are trafficking, like, Pablo Escobar style, not Jeffrey Epstein. Like, no, that's not me. So she kind of backtracked at that point, like, oh, no, I just knew it couldn't have been right. Just trying to take back her statements because, like, I kind of, like, called her on it. And she's like, I just knew it wouldn't be right. I knew that couldn't be you, whatever. Like, my roommates always talk crazy stuff. Actually, they gave me a nickname that I go by in Wheeler. And I kid you not, she looked at me and said they call her Shirilla the Killa.
During their brief relationship, Cheyenne had believed every word Mackenzie told her. Mackenzie would speak about Dominic and Davion in what Cheyenne described as a loving and regarding way. She never made light of what had happened. She presented herself as an innocent young woman who had been wrongfully convicted, a victim of a system that had failed her. Cheyenne said, when I was in there, I honestly believed maybe she's not guilty because of the limited information I had. Then I began to think, okay, maybe we can get her out. She had been ready to advocate publicly for Mackenzie, to fight her corner, until she got home and looked at the evidence herself. She said, when I saw all the evidence, I was like, whoa. When I left prison, I did not view Mackenzie as the monster she is now being portrayed as. When I first got out, I was like, oh, they don't know what this girl's been through. Then I saw all the evidence. She thought back to that moment, Mackenzie laughing about being called Shirilla the Killa, and it landed differently now. As a girlfriend, she said Mackenzie had been demanding. If Cheyenne didn't come outside on time, arguments would follow. She recalled her saying, I was waiting for you. Where were you? Like, if this is how it's gonna go, I just won't talk to you. When Cheyenne was released, Mackenzie was devastated. She said, Mackenzie was upset that I was leaving. She would tell me all the time, I wish we met sooner, before you were about to get out. They stayed in contact for months after Cheyenne's release, until Cheyenne saw the full picture of the case and walked away. Cheyenne concluded, she could be the sweetest girl ever, but if she doesn't like you, she's the devil.
That deadly crash happened at this intersection early Sunday morning, and just over 24 hours later, you can see here a large amount of classmates, teammates, loved ones, family members gathering here to mourn the lives of two young men gone too soon.
These kids are part of my heart. You lose one, and it hurts. It hurts till you cry.
But this Strongsville community is devastated. It lost two young men. Dominic's family still processing this. He was the youngest of 7.
His name was Dominic, so we called him Dominucci or Nucci. So he was always the one that would make us smile. He always had the biggest smile on his face.
Monday evening, loved ones and classmates returned to the crash site, grieving together.
It was shocking. We've known Davion for about 14 years. They've been neighbors of ours. We've watched him grow up from this little scrawny kid to this big muscular football player. And he was really like a third son for me. So it was devastating.
This massive turnout was no surprise to anyone, especially William Vaughn, who I'm told helped coach both young men in football.
They worked hard, both of them. They worked hard to try to represent the school. I can say that all of the coaches love these kids. I mean, these are my kids.
He loved basketball. He loved his Jordans. He always had a nice set of Jordans on. He loved to mess around just like pretty much any other teenager nowadays.
For the families of Dominic and Davion, the case did not close when the courtroom doors did. It has continued in different forms every day since. In the immediate aftermath of the crash, The Flanagan family did what so many grieving families find themselves doing. They looked for a way to turn devastation into something that might last.
A Strongsville family is hoping generations of young people will be able to fulfill their dreams their son never realized.
By all accounts, Davion Flanagan was exceptional.
He could pick up any sport and be good at it from the start. So he was mainly focused on football. That was his passion.
A natural athlete, and from the time Jamie and Scott Flanagan fostered and adopted young Davion and his sisters, it was his heart that also stood out.
He didn't have cliques. He was anyone who wanted his heart and wanted his time, he was going to be there for them. The best thing that can come from this is for Mackenzie to have a change of heart, to take responsibility for her actions, apologize to us, not for an accident, but for murdering her son. The only way is through. You can't get stuck. You can't go back. You can't change what happened. But you can move forward and try to do something beautiful in his memory. And that's where the idea of the scholarship fund came from.
They're hoping to give other young people the chance to follow the same dreams their son had, creating a scholarship fund at All-State Hairstyling and Barber College in Ohio City.
We're looking for a way that we can kind of take the ashes of this and turn it into something hopeful. He was so much more than just, the friend in the back seat. His life was so precious and valuable that he's missed and loved, and, that we want to carry on that heart of his, that giving heart.
Jamie Flanagan, Davion's adoptive mother, wrote in the GoFundMe she set up in his name, "In the midst of this devastating tragedy, our family would like to attempt to create something good and hopeful. We hope to memorialize Davion's life in a way that gives back, and that will carry on the love and kindness that he himself carried in his own beautiful heart, the love that he wanted so badly for himself and that he gave to the world around him." The GoFundMe has almost over $130,000, and I've put a link to it in the description box. In May 2024, the family presented their inaugural scholarship to its first recipient, a young woman named Melissa Avalos.
The barber chair is more than a place to freshen up.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
It can be therapeutic.
A lot of people don't realize that there's a lot more to barbering besides cutting hair.
And for barbers, it's where the creativity flows.
I'd walk in, crazy hair, walk out, whole new haircut. It was great memories. The bathroom was always covered in hair.
During high school, Davion Flanagan was already practicing his barber skills. And when injuries derailed his goals of playing college football, his next dream was to study here at All-State Hairstyling and Barber College.
He got his application, and he was in the process of filling it out when unfortunately his life was taken from him.
In 2023, we told you about plans to create a memorial scholarship. And Thursday, that plan was realized.
On behalf of the Davion Flanagan Memorial Fund, we would like to award you this scholarship to pay your remaining tuition balance in full.
Melissa Aviles' application caught the Flanagan's eye. She spent part of her childhood in foster care, just like Davion, who was adopted with his sisters at age 8.
I felt like we had a bond just there, alone. And the fact that they did what they did for him and continued his happiness, his dreams, it's like, yeah, I want that too. I know I can get that.
Divine Flanagan, Davion's younger sister, has remained a visible and vocal presence in the case's public life. She said,
We've had trauma, we've had pain, but even through that all, he's always shown a kind heart to others. So I truly believe that's what he would want us to do with this.
The Russo family carried their grief more privately in the years immediately following the crash and trial, but the release of the Netflix documentary brought Christine Russo, Dominic's sister, back into public view, and she has not stepped back since.
I was 13 years older than him, so when he was born, he was like my baby. Changed his diapers, fed him, woke up in the middle of the night with him, taught him how to walk, had that relationship. And then as he got older, he was my best pal. And when I started having my own babies, sorry.
You don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize.
I don't know. He was real. I can't talk anymore.
It's okay.
He was a really good uncle, and he was fun, and the kids loved him, and he loved us. But yeah, he was a really good person, ambitious, funny, fun to be around. You could see now after he's passed, like, how this really affected so many people. Just goes to show how loved he was.
In April 2026, Christine launched a podcast on YouTube called Big Sister Unhinged, dedicated to preserving the memories of Dominic and Davion, raising awareness of domestic violence in teenage relationships, and providing what she calls the correct truth and correct information.
Why did you want to launch your own venture here, your own podcast? Because when I'm listening to it, it does make me wonder, is it not only bringing attention to your brother in this situation and this case, but is it also therapeutic in a way? Does it help in a way?
Yeah, I launched it for several reasons. Being therapeutic is just one. I knew that before this Netflix movie came out, for years it's been a talk around the community. It's been on the news, a couple of shows, but I had a feeling that this was going to be so humongous. And I also have had to battle a lot of misinformation, a lot of lies spewing, and a lot of movements about freeing my brother's murderer. And I've been dealing with that for quite some time. And I've always felt and my entire family, very helpless, being so small on the internet, trying to correct misinformation. So I really just tried to establish some type of platform so when this aired, they could hear our voices.
In the midst of so much pain, Christine has spoken about her deepening friendship with Davion Flanagan, Davion's younger sister. The two young women, brought together by the worst possible circumstances, have formed a close bond in the years since. Christine even had Davion on her podcast, Big Sister Unhinged.
I look at two young sisters who lost their big brother. I feel the pain, and I'm very empathetic, so I can only imagine what they go through. They were brought up in foster care. They only had each other, so I couldn't imagine, what they're going through. So sitting and talking with her, just because we're going through the same thing, two different families, but we're going through the exact same thing. So it's nice to sit down, and I don't know, I feel a super strong connection to her. She's amazing. I love her. I do. Scott's a real nice guy. Jamie, Delia, they're just really nice people. And my heart breaks.
When asked how the family were doing following the documentary and everything that had come with it, Christine said, somebody asked me this the other day too, and I'm like, we don't have a plan. At the end of the day, Dom's still gone. I've learned to use the chaos to help me get along with my grief, but just now as I broke down in tears, it hits you sometimes and you can't stop it. So it could be randomly, or it could be a song, or I don't know, a feeling, but it hits us all. We're not good. None of us were all really, really sad all the time. He was a big loss. He was a big part of our life. So we are not doing that great. And now, in the days following the documentary's release, Christine has gone further still. She has launched a petition on change.org calling for what she is naming Dom's Law, formerly titled Victims Before Influencers, Modernizing the Son of Sam's Law.
New tonight, an Ohio family pushing to change the law aimed at stopping convicted violent offenders from profiting off their crimes through social media. It's called Dom's Law. It's inspired by the killing of Dominic Russo and his friend Davion Flanagan.
Time to relook at these laws.
Christine Russo says the idea came to her just weeks ago, after watching what she calls years of attention around the case that took her brother's life.
So my brother's murderer, who I will not name, she has been obsessed with herself and being social media famous from the very beginning. Her mom's telling her to write a book. They very much go back and forth, laughing about how famous this case has gotten. Things like that. So a couple weeks ago, I was just thinking how I could stop that.
Ohio's existing Son of Sam Law, written in the 1970s, prevents violent criminals from profiting from their crimes through book sales, journals, and news articles. Christine argues that in 2026, that law has not kept pace with the times. Dom's Law would extend those protections to social media, preventing convicted violent offenders from monetizing the notoriety Their crimes have brought them online.
Russo says the pain isn't only the crime, but a culture she says can turn violence into clicks, followers, and money.
Even right after she killed my brother, she laid in a hospital bed making TikToks within hours of killing 2 people.
Her petition calls on Ohio lawmakers to update the state's Son of Sam law, originally written decades ago, to stop criminals from profiting through books or media deals.
That was written in the 1970s. So that basically covered like book sales or writing of books, journals, news articles, things of that sort. Now it's 2026 and there's social media. No victim's family should have to watch the person who killed their loved one turn that crime into attention, followers, donations, sponsorships, merchandise, paid interviews, documentaries, social media income, or other personal benefits.
And Russo says the support she's seen so far is helping her family keep pushing forward.
There's hundreds of comments as well. People leaving videos on the site. Strangers, complete strangers that are like leaving, their condolences. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with how it's going in this short amount of time.
The petition is already close to 60,000 signatures and climbing. And once again, I'll link it in the description box below. If you want to add your name, please do. The Russo family have also set up a GoFundMe in support of Dominic's memorial. His mother, Christine, tends to it every day, sometimes more than once. She prints photographs for visitors, changes flowers regularly, adds solar lights, laminated letters and pictures, trinkets and statues. Friends and family come and leave their own pieces of him. Then, in the summer of 2023, as the first anniversary of his death approached, and the trial was just weeks away, someone set the grave on fire. Everything burned to the ground. Christine launched a GoFundMe titled Recreate Dominic's Gravesite. The family rebuilt it. No one has been publicly identified or charged in connection with the arson. As recently as 2026, a blue plastic sheet still covers the patched corner of the Plidco building on Progress Drive, where the car struck. A memorial that friends created near the site in the days after the crash has remained. The street is quiet. The building is still there, and for those who knew Dominic and Davion, that corner of Strongsville will never look the same again. This is a case that will stay with you. 2 young men who had done nothing wrong, who had their whole lives ahead of them, whose futures were stolen from them in the early hours of a Sunday morning on a quiet road in Strongsville, Ohio. They deserved better. Their families deserved better. And yet in the years since, those families have shown a grace and a strength that is nothing short of extraordinary. The Scholarship Fund, the podcast, Dom's Law the Memorial, all of it built from grief, all of it done in love. I have linked all of the GoFundMe pages, the Scholarship Fund, the Dom's Law petition, and Christine's podcast in the description box below. Please go and show your support. Sign your name, donate if you can, stream the podcast, share the petition. It costs nothing to show up for a family that has given everything. My heart goes out to every single one of them. And as always, rest in peace, Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan. Thanks so much for listening to True Crime with Ellie Mack, with me, Ellie Mack. And a special thanks to our members who you see on screen now. Your support means so much and really helps keep the channel going. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else, a rating and a follow really help the show grow. See you next time.